Okay.
And we begin with Coter.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to stream tonight. We are
Toe Turner.
excited to finish the race. Yo, when did we start this race? Like, I don't know. Was it 3 months ago? It feels like
technically,
it's
the first
in real
race.
life. Yeah.
This race hasn't. It just started.
Actually, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Just fired the gun into the air.
Yeah.
I want to say November.
It wasn't. Was it that long? Was it that long that we had the first race?
November's when we did get
Possibly.
into Emrutlar.
Yo.
Yeah.
We've had a
I'm
lot
telling
of
you,
stuff.
we need occasional time jumps. Make our characters feel more like in line with what's going on in our brains.
Right? And then time passed. Well, see, that's what traveling is for. It was before I went to Texas.
Oh man, so
But we don't travel.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what traveling is for. Like, you can do some, like, this took a week
Downtime.
to get here. Yeah, or downtime or whatever.
There's some sweet roleplay that happens during the travel time, though. So
This is true.
Eventually, if the travel time gets long enough, it'll end up being Knights of Silver Moon Shippuden.
I hate you.
So,
Episode's purely just
episode
filler.
150, titled "Opening Day," was debuted on Monday. Wait, December 13th, 2021.
Okay,
If
so
you
it's
win
probably
Scooby
what, the
up
weekend
to-
before? The week before? If you
I
do them
convinced
like the
Phil
week
to
after?
raid Doritos.
No, like that week. So
I don't. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Don't worry about
yes.
it. Just ignore
Yeah.
him. It's okay. He made his choices. It's fine. We are moving forward. I do have, now that we have everybody here and everybody's attention, we have
a
a
sponsor.
sponsor. We do have a sponsor once again. This sponsor brought to you by, the forces that be and our amazing friends that we have. They're so talented. That's all I'm going to say. They're just so talented. All right. Well, without further ado, today's sponsor, everybody. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Hello. Do you tire from a long day on the road? Are you looking for a way to blow off some steam from your daily struggles? Do you feel like you should be treated as royalty? Then come on down to the Salty Prince Spa, where our eager staff is ready to tend to all of your needs. Our care team is experienced with a combined 85 years of tender care. And who knows, maybe you'll get a salty surprise from the prince himself. Salty Surprise is Prince brand saltwater taffy. Any extra propositioning or offers from the prince should be accepted only at your own risk. NDA required post Salty Surprise experience. Not available at all locations. Extra charges may be present in Havrua and the Moonshade Isles. Ha ha ha. Don't be salty. Come, exalt me. Salty Prince!
Wow,
That was amazing.
that was amazing.
So I do have a question. If I
you?
lick him,
Just one?
would he taste like salt?
Well, like I said, you have to do so at your own risk. So they're not held responsible for whatever happens after that. If you disappear, never to be seen again. Also, the Prince's Salty Surprise was very much saltwater taffy. It was clearly stated by the little lawyer man. But yes, little lawyer.
That was the super cutest little.
So yeah, thank you to Joom Joom and Best Night of Your Life is only one legal formality away. And of course our Heko Geku Doodle for drawing those abominations. She was very upset, but she loved it. So that's fine. That's all fine. But yes, so that was our sponsor for tonight. Thank you, Salty Prince Luxury Spa, for sponsoring us tonight in this episode of Game of Santos. Without further ado, we'll jump into tonight's episode of Game of Santos. Here we go.
So you're going meow.
All right, let's see here. I gotta move some
Gonna have to
people
get you a
around.
meowing together.
I'm an Arjun.
There we go.
Okay, I'm back to
No, now you're Arjun again.
I'm an Arjun.
Now you're
Ma'am,
just-
disappointed? Really? I show
All
up.
All right, here we go. All right, guys. Let's see. So you were doing the recap, yeah?
Recap.
Go
This
for it.
shirt
Take it away.
Weird.
It's just wrinkly.
It's got like a pattern on it, so it's making.
It looks like the old school TV.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
TV stuff.
Oh, yeah. It took me a minute to see what you're talking about. All right, go ahead, Soul. It's all yours.
You gotta take it off. Okay. So, on the last time of Game of Santos, I had a really nice bath and then also a massage, but we won't talk too much about that. We won't talk about that. Right? If you hear anything, they're lies. They're all lies. In any case, they wanted me to go to relax to take another bath, but it's a hot bath, a spa. It did feel nice, but it was too much. Iskra showed up eventually, and just as I was about to leave, so she got time to relax in the hot spa bath. And she confirmed that she didn't hear anything, so that's always good, because nothing happened anyway. So I went back to my room, and while I did that, Iskra told me afterwards that there was a very scary, ugly man that showed up. Bald head, face looked like damaged, did not look very friendly. So we're keeping an eye out for him. He comes around. I don't know, maybe we are musicians again or something. Who knows? We might need some goats. I'm not too sure just yet. But I have that ready in case we need goats. It's always ready. It's like in my pocket.
Goddamn goats.
I finally had time to look at that mushroom that Sonder gave to me after he took it from Kindred and lied to him. But he told me that this was good lies because we were concerned for Kindred's head health. And so that is okay then. If you lie to friends to their face for good reasons because you are concerned for their head health, I guess that is okay. anyways, this mushroom, it was not from our world. It was from somewhere else. I don't really care for it. It made really black, gross-looking ooze, and it seems to spread if you let it touch things. So I tried it with the flower. It absorbed this black, gross oozeness, and so I destroyed the flower. I burned it, and you can see little gross, otherworld black stuff in the air. I'm sure it's no big deal though. Afterwards as well, Iskra and Galil were having some conversations that I am not privy to, so I can only assume what they were talking about. So it turns out they were talking about Aliquin, who is no longer part of our group, but who also had some mental issues, I guess we could say. And Galil hearing voices, which it looks like the amount of us in the group that do not hear voices is dwindling. So they were concerned and they decided to get a message and send it to Afriel, but they asked for Kindred's help. Eventually they ended up figuring out how to do it, I believe, and then Kindred showed up anyway, which is totally cool. On the other side of planet Earth, here still in this forward town that we're in, Ardrin, Renan, Sonder, and Kindred for a little while. We're having drinks with Tall Bob and getting to experience his wonderful creations. And then Ardrin decided to jumpstart Tall Bob's future sponsorship career by giving him 100 gold. Very interested to see how this is going to turn out for him in a year from now. The rest of us are now back in. Oh, sorry. I know to this part. Now I can take over from here. Okay. So Kindred shows up eventually with Iskra and Galil, and then I joined them. Then everybody else showed up, like Sonder and Arden and Renan. We ended up getting some drinks together, and now we are going to watch this race that is apparently happening. And we can watch this from Iskra's window. And just if you are curious, feel free to lick the walls here because they do taste like salt.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All accurate. Good job. Thank you. Soul and soul for this.
Yes, I enjoyed the handoff there. That was pretty great.
Yeah, that was well done. Well played.
Ooh, who's next? Let's roll the dice of fate.
Oh yeah,
we yes.
did early.
All right, let's see. Where are we at? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really?
Ooh. I wasn't sure if you knew.
You're right. I don't know.
If I help you again.
Ardrin. That is a dose.
Okay.
So that'll be.
Funny thing is, I was thinking about volunteering anyway, so that works out.
Oh well, there you go. The dice knew.
Okay, Katniss.
Yeah, that's what it is. Alrighty. Let's see here. Kindred.
Oh gosh.
As you had been studying over the course of the day before the evening comes, and in betwixt the messages that you had received for your aid in, doing things, there's an earthquake in Saunders' room right now. It's okay. It's all right. You're good.
It's the hammer.
Go to the door frame.
We should. Every time Sonder or someone moves the camera, we just all have to start doing side to side motions.
We could add Star Trek damage as a redeemable.
Yes. The USS Sonder.
Computer.
Anyway, Kindred, as you had been studying, going over the, were you wanting to focus on breaking the cipher, or looking through some of the other papers that seem to include more magic-related stuff, more Arcanum-based stuff?
I want to do both, so let's do a roll. Evens, Arcana, odds, cipher.
Okay.
Okay. Odd.
So, Arcana?
Cipher.
Did you? I don't remember. It's the cipher. Okay. I was like, you were the one supposed to remember. I was just going to be like, okay. Dang it. And we both were like,
I was
which
waiting
one?
to see if you were remembering. I was making sure you were paying attention. No.
All right. So,
Cipher it is.
cipher it is.
Cipher no siphoning.
Make an intelligence check for me and add your
Apparently, that's
proficiency.
not going to be his thing tonight, Aaron.
Isn't it investigation?
Your intelligence? Oh, I don't know.
Or is it
Is it investigation?
a successful investigation beating the spell, the DC plus whatever this DC is. So
Oh, okay.
at least for
Okay.
I have
okay.
the linguist feat.
Yep. For you mean for
Okay.
someone else to try and beat yours, right?
Yeah, so I figure
correct
it would be
yours.
the same.
It'd be the same. Yes, correct. Sorry.
Okay. 14. So plus 9. 23.
23.
Yeah, investigation.
Oh.
Yes,
Okay.
23.
Let's see.
Oh, God.
here. I know, right? The music. It's all intense. You start to crack some of these pages, and as the cipher is starting to like work its way, and you're starting to understand what it is that you are reading.
It's a critical hit.
You find that these notes are about something called sand magicite. Something that they have been discovered, or just something that they have been discovering in the Anorak Desert during their excavations of Netheril and Netherese cities and dig sites. It's unclear whether the sand magicite is something that is grown naturally or something that was an occurrence or a byproduct, I should say, of the amount of magic that was used in the Netheril Empire and the spell plague. But it seems to be somewhere between both. It is that you can tell from going over it for these couple hours. It has the potential to store magic energy up to a point. It has explosive tendencies with fire or force damage. Becomes statically charged with lightning. And immune to psychic damage, as was seen before.
Okay. You're gonna hate me, but can you repeat those properties? I was trying to write everything down really fast.
No, I mean I can also send them to you later too, but just that way your brain can hear them for now. And that with and with proper combinations, the resulting explosions are quote unquote marvelous. But the experiments are varied, and what Luther seems to be in the point of like trying to figure out how best to implement them. And shipments are being sent to Nethjet and Tiraturos. So to one city to the west and one city to the east. Okay. So that's just that way you didn't feel like you didn't miss out on a learning opportunity. There
Right,
are still,
I hate idle time.
there still are some more papers that were there in the bunch that seem more arcane focused, but because those are a little easier to figure out, you focus your attention on the harder task at the time. Alrighty. Anything else that you in this time that you wanted to do or accomplish in that weird window of time before we catch up to the present that I might have missed?
No,
Oh yeah, you said that we leveled up.
What'd you say, Sonder? I saw you were talking.
Does Kindred, do you relay that to the rest of the group? The
Well,
properties?
I would figure no, because given the timeline of events, we haven't really had time. So it's kind of like I studied, I figured this out, and then mushroom.
Yeah. And then the events of mushroom took place.
Mushroom.
And then we got
Fetcher,
sidetracked
fetcher.
with drinks, and then Blaze Burn or whatever his name is. Yeah, and then race.
Rule Blaze fellow.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting up to the race. Go ahead.
Because it's starting to become evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dusk.
Yep.
Okay. I would have liked to tried one thing
Sure.
in that bit time. Okay, since it's a new dawn, it recharges. I want to pull out. This would have been like during study time when I was alone. Pull out the skull of Nefer.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of sit there and I was like, I wonder if this is going to work. And I place a piece of paper underneath it and I pull out the quill of necromancy. And I do a Dumbella, activate it.
Nice.
Other questions?
Dumbella.
Nefer or
That's
Nuzuk?
correct. here.
Nefer.
Fair. Interesting. Okay.
In the hallway, apparently.
In the hall.
All right. So, you cast the spell, and the pen shakes and moves on the paper. Is there a roll that I need to do for this?
No, it just happens.
Okay.
Of course, the corpse knows what it only knew in life, including the languages it knew. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, or repetitive. So,
Got it.
game's discretion.
The pen quill flies upward and looks like it kind of moves like a compass needle that points north. Only north is the paper, but it kind of like swings back and forth a little bit and points downwards.
Like one of those little seismograph things.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like, oh fuck, it's working. Shit. Who sent you to guard down there?
Writes out Mistress Luthra.
Okay. Are you prisoner or there of your own free will?
The pen shakes and seems to like twitch for a minute before it like starts writing again. This time, as it writes, penance.
And are you in the graveyard?
No.
Fuck. And I only get 3 questions.
Curious and curious.
I
I was thinking about
scratch
that.
noise for a long time, and then it just be a simple answer.
Is writing it out in Thayan, and Thayan.
It's
the
just
Thayan
3
word for
ellipses for an hour.
Erases and then draws it again, and then erases.
It's
scratches
like
it
SpongeBob
out.
when he's like, the.
Then it says red with a check mark, and that's it.
Perfect.
Okay, so I was like, oh shit, well that's something, and well, okay, shove it all back, and then we can time forward up to date.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Kindred, you're wearing a sexy dress right now, as is Iskra.
I was
yeah.
wondering because I'm cross-dressing, or did you have me alter shape or something?
Nope. But I just figured because
Just a man
Iskra was wearing
wearing
a
a dress.
sexy dress, you were like, hey, I still have my sexy dress. And therefore, elves do whatever the fuck elves want to do.
Yeah.
I come down very androgynous.
Yeah. I
The
would
V-neck. The V-neck
mean-
goes so low it almost meets up with the slit that goes up high.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what we discussed last time was that you were basically wearing a kitchen towel. So, you know,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
a very
Wait,
I
there was
seem to
that
recall
much
this
to it?
conversation the same way, Aaron. We're good.
yeah. It was a little bit tight.
It's more of a
Permit.
thought of fabric, really.
Yeah. It's
And
more.
then- Did Galil ever request new clothing? Because I don't remember if that ever happened.
Yes.
I did. I even got it.
Oh, you did already. Okay.
Mhm.
And Soul's just wearing the silk pajamas.
Right.
And I'll be wearing the more party-esque attire that I got to.
Okay.
DM,
Yes.
the guy that examined the dead guy that we had originally, like, he had the eye twitch thing when we were still underground. He was a mage. What was his name?
Skethris.
Sketharis. Okay.
I mean,
I call him Skeksis.
yeah.
I
was
put him down
gonna
as
say,
mage
did he just
Skeksis.
say
So
a lot, or
Mm.
Skeksis believes this to be true.
I love it. I love the way they do it.
I
Okay.
mean, yeah.
Cool. Sketharis.
Asshole Yodas.
Yeah, asshole. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No.
I hadn't thought about it like that, but you are not wrong.
Chamberlain.
Wait, let's do something
the
a
dark
little
crystal.
more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Uh,
peace.
Heck yeah. Let's see here. We are
Farmers.
needing.
Bum,
Yeah,
bum, 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 bum.
Bam!
there it is. Oof, I hate to do this because it could be really loud. Yeah, no, that's the different. That's a different kind of cheering that I was going for. Okay. Anyway, in the distance, you can hear the cheering from
They
the
have some
crowd.
marching band.
Let's go! Let's go! You can hear the people.
They're just dead skeletons. Like they just throw up instead of batons, they just throw their femur.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the production quality is low, like in the original Army of Darkness, where it's just rubber skeletons on sticks that they just shake up and down.
Yes. You heard the broadcast of Lady Luthra as she announced the beginning of the race, thanked the special guests that were here in the city, and thus started the race. I cannot find appropriate, exciting music for a race, but needless to say, there is a energy in the air. As you can see from your vantage point, you can see the starting line is probably a few hundred feet out past you guys, or out at the edges of the city, where there's this large stand that has been constructed, and that like mass crowd of people that is there ready for this race to commence. So the race takes off, and you can hear and almost swear that you can feel the ground below you kind of like shaking a little bit as yeah, as the vibrations of the sail fangs kind of charge towards the Salty Prince before banking around and pass it along the avenue that leads to the front of the fortress, where you can see, because you have like basically there's like one window that faces out into the desert, one window that faces the edges of the city, and then one window that faces like into the city towards the fortress itself. And you can kind of move from one window to the next as the Sailfangs race by. I will say that you have received word of the participants of this race are going to be
I have the names.
do you? I have, well, yeah, I have them too. Savap, Nasty J, which was not Nasty J, but it was
Nasty J.
Nasty
J made it.
Nasty J
That's
made
what I
it.
had wrote down.
Kamemi,
Kamemi.
Yeah, man.
Al Kamar,
Ooh.
Rada,
Yeah.
and
Rather.
and Hidagi.
Pierced Brosnan didn't make it.
Pierce Brosnan did not make
I'm
it.
out.
Which one was
Algamar
Pierce?
was the
The one that came up to us.
yeah, I thought so.
He's like the lead
He's the guy who's
destined to win.
anticipated to win. Yeah.
Oh wait,
Um,
Rada was on Pierced Brosnan.
Oh, yeah.
There we
You're
go.
right. Yeah.
That's a gnome, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah, you're right.
never mind, I'm back
that.
in.
I'm back in. You see them take off along the way, and there's like, as they pass, you can hear the people that are kind of spectating from the rooftops around you guys, or like across from the Salty Prince stuff. You can see them like cheering and chanting, and as they take off and meander around. Meander being a terrible word to use for a race, but you know what I mean.
I'm like leaning on the balcony and looking at Kindred. I'm like, hey, that's our guy. And like pointing at the red dragonborn.
The red dragonborn, like, as they are at the moment just running as a pack, like there's just dust, a trail of dust as they kind of just jockeying around for position, heading deeper into the city. Wind is over there next to you as you are saying that to Kindred. Alkamar, yes, they are very popular
Charming.
here in Amrutar. Charming there. For a dragonborn, perhaps. There are many of the jockeys that are brutish, I suppose. But Alkamar can be, the rider for Alkamar is a little, he knows what he's doing. Is that who
Look at
you
him. That's
So you
like-
met.
is that who you have planned to win?
Well, we just got to talk to him firsthand before the first race.
I bet on him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you wish to place bets for this round as well? I did not mean to take away the experience from you.
Honestly, for me, the experience of being here right under Thay's nose is experience enough.
Fair enough. There is, I suppose, living at the edges of danger. Knowing that at any moment, she kind of looks around at the Thayans down below, the guards keeping people at bay off the track, and the large fancy stand that is set up in front of the gates and walls of the fortress not too far away. So that at any moment that you could be discovered.
No, I mean to say I'm proud of us, honestly. I mean, are there drinks around currently? Did Floria bring them already?
Yeah.
Okay. Lately, and I kind of turn to everybody, things have felt pretty rough, right? We're just surviving. But every day we survive, that causes them problems. So, that's worth taking in and thinking about, right?
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
Causing problems.
It's causing problems.
True. Kindred, that is a very good toast for you.
I do like problems.
I take the sip with a debonair smile, just staring right back at him.
I already turned my back to you.
You see his low slooping back of his dress.
You see the arch of my back, very arched,
and those two little dimples.
I was gonna say his tram stamp, but
I remember when I used to have those.
I was only 200 at the time. I didn't know any better.
I was so young then.
why does it say Smash Mouth in that weird tribal pattern?
And I'm not kidding, like what Renan kind of does, he's like,
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Perfect. Okay.
His belly tattoo says tub thumping.
okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
This has turned into a whole different kind of party.
Let's we'll just go with one of these songs. That's fine. This has energy in it, I'm sure. Maybe not that kind of energy. There you go. You hear a shout, and the voice, like, kind of, you can hear in Thayan that they are announcing kind of like how the race is going as it's going. But it seems like at the moment, as they are banking their way through the city, and each round's probably going to take, we'll say, like 5 minutes, but there are 5 laps. So within this time, it seems like I'm just gonna go with Nasty J. Forget it. Nasty J seems to be moving towards the lead, and Savap is closing it. Well, hold on. I'll just do it in the voice.
I vop, you vop.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe your luck tonight. We have a race that is unlike any other. First round, we have Nasty J coming around the corner, breaking into the lead, with Savap closing in fast, followed by closely on the heels, nipping with teeth, Kamemi. Alkamar looks to have gotten stuck slow behind Hidage and Rada, bringing up the rear.
And that's the end of that round. So he like starts narrating the race as a kind of voice kind of echoes out across the city. Within a short amount of time, you can see them banking around far to the south of the city as they start coming towards that first line. And even though you've only seen technically 2 of the races, you're starting to get an eye for the streamers and colors that they have on the sail fangs as they are coming down the line, passing through that first round, and are coming back again. As they pass through the finish line, coming back again towards you, the ground kind of starts shaking as they stampede right past you guys and move quickly down past the fortress once again.
See, I think he's being smart. Alkamar is just conserving his energy for now.
He's gonna wait till the last minute and then boom.
Exactly.
Nice. Anything else you guys are wanting to?
Makes for an interesting sport.
Anything else you guys are wanting to do in the meantime while you guys are talking and or whatever?
While they're
just
like
kind of waiting.
on the far side, Blaze back and Luther, like, can we see them from like a podium or something? Are they like?
You see the stand that they are probably at that is set up in front of the gates and walls of the fortress, but they you can't see anybody particularly, but you see this very elaborate set up with like a bunch of hanging banners and flapping like flags that are flapping in the wind over there. A lot of like almost looks like golden red streamers that are all like hung up in like from the fortress wall up into the buildings across the way.
Okay. I just want to kind of like lie over that way just to see, like, while they're on the far side of the town.
Okay. Nice.
Hey, anyone got like noticing Kindred? Anyone got something to let us see a little further?
I have my spice glass.
Oh, you took us this long to tell us?
Like,
Renan,
come on,
what
hurry!
I make a
ethereal
motion
eyes
like
see?
this.
Jesus, here. It's for catch.
You want to put the mic arm down?
I'm on this.
He's using the other mic.
Oh.
That mic. Yeah, you're good.
All right,
Go ahead.
I catch it and then hand it behind my back over to Kindred.
Ah, where's Nasty J?
It's like trying to use as you are like, you know, you have it out and you're just like trying to figure out how to
Yes.
like you have like maybe the first time you have it like the opposite direction before you switch
I'm
it
like,
over.
they're so
You're
far.
like,
How do they get
I
here so
don't
fast?
See, I don't see anything.
The other
like-
way, hon. The other way.
Then you have to take the cap off, and then you can start looking around and like seeing. You know, I never thought that would come in handy, but there you go.
It would have made me so
I
happy if you
thank
took that thing
Kirsanos.
away and you had the
It was
full
a black-
alfalfa eye.
Just the one eye.
I
the
thought
black-
about that.
Nice.
I just quietly thank Kirsanos for his blessing of Evarial eyes and look out across the
But you see them as they start disappearing around the corner, headed down towards the harbor area before they start looping back in that city, making like the little switchbacks and around. All right, next line. Oh boy. Could you understand me okay when I was using the thingy mabobber?
That was fun, yeah.
Okay.
remarkably well, actually.
we've gotten
I was
Ardrin.
quite impressed.
Oh, good. We're gonna say Adrian.
Just while they're looking at Luthra and them presumably, I kind of want to be paying attention to the crowd rather than just the race, just to see reactions. Are they reacting more to the race? Are they reacting to the sort of Thane elite in the area, or are the Thane elites kind of having a different reaction to the race than everybody else?
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, if you will.
It's night at this time, right?
No, it is sunset.
Sunset. So do I have disadvantage on that, or
Well, say
is that flat?
I'd just say it's flat. It's just too flat. It's fine.
We just turn you to where the sun's at your back. And they pass right in front of us, right?
So close to being good. It was about to be a 13 and then it just lopped over and became a 5. So 10 total.
10 total. The crowd here, despite how much there is like cheering and you can hear them like shouting and stuff as they are like going wild as every time that they pass by, you pay that attention to the individuals and they seem so entirely enthralled in the race. Like there is something that is just like they are just in it. They don't seem to be paying attention to anything else. Just like you would imagine avid fans of any sporting event. No one seems to be paying any attention to anything else but what is going on in the races. If you were to look in the direction of the social elite, as it were, I mean, they seem to be enjoying it as much as like nobles and such at a sporting event. They just kind of sit and cheer and clap and watch things, but they seem a lot more calm and subdued, where like the people of the city are just like, you can see like some have like smeared dye and face paint on, and
I mean, I imagine if you've seen one of these races every year for the last 200 years, it wears a little thin.
It's like Fiesta for us.
You're just like, yes, Fiesta. Yeah.
Yeah. The sail fan go fast. Anywho, when's dinner?
And they all pass right in front of us, right? Or like in front of the building?
Yes, right in front of you.
Oh dear.
Grabs Galil by the shoulder. No.
I want to look over the balcony, and right when they pass, they all clusterfuck right in front of us. I cast slow on everyone except for Nasty J.
Oh my god.
Can you actually do this?
No. I thought about it because I was like, oh, I want him to win.
Cast haste on Algamar for me.
Just push Kindred out the window at that point.
Oh no! Okay.
Subtle.
So super subtle. Super.
No, I cast subtle.
Oh, subtle spell.
Yeah, a subtle spell.
Oh shit.
Well, hold on.
What?
Let me get through what is going on in this next round.
Reduce.
They haven't started coming back around yet.
They can't catch me now.
As this next round comes through, you hear the announcer barking out once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will not believe what is going on today in this final race. Savap jets up to the lead with a clever use of the environment. I have never seen Selfang's run on walls before, which Alkamar seems to use as well, going from fourth to tying for first in this second round. Rada takes a chance on a straightaway and moves from the end of the pack all the way to the front. Nasty J takes a rough bump against the wall. That has got to hurt. The falls behind with Kamemi and Hidage bringing up the rear.
As the crowd starts to cheer again, was the Selfings come around the corner, you can feel the ground start to vibrate as they run past you. So currently in this next bunch, it is Savap, Alkamar, Rada, Nasty J, Kamemi, and Hidage. In that order.
Hey, what did I tell you? That's the kind of move. You know, Sonder. A foot race like this might be kind of fun.
In a
Huh?
sec.
Could see that being fun.
No,
Hey.
that sounds like a fascinating thing to watch.
Why do I know this music?
I don't know. My Hero Academia.
Okay, that's
From
fine.
Shadow the Hedgehog to
Probably.
It does kind of sound like that. Something that would be played with there. Okay.
For Aaron,
Yes.
I would like to posit
Yeah.
that Rada, being a gnome, is the perfect jockey size compared to a dragonborn, and therefore should have some advantage in this race. Even though I am not
Dragonborn has
betting
that
It's not
on
about the
it.
size of the boat, it's the
Kinship
motion in the ocean.
with the sail fang. He's like bonded to his steed.
Yeah,
They think the
reptile.
same
It's a
thoughts.
reptile thing.
Yeah.
They licked each other's eyeballs.
Oh, oh my
He
god.
performed the rite of Junji Ito. What?
That's the sign that they bonded.
Oh my god, I love it.
how long do you think you could hold on to one of those, Iskra?
I bet I could give some of these guys a run for their money. I mean, maybe not at first. They've clearly had a lot of training, but eventually.
What do you mean a lot
think
of
so.
training?
No,
The jockeys?
the jockeys.
Oh, I thought she said she's had a lot of training. I'm like, "Whoa, what did you grow up writing?
Manta rays.
No, I meant like I didn't know if like she did something back in Ravnica. Not
We have
I knew what you meant.
mechanical self-fanes here.
right. Like for once, I wasn't being dirty.
Bar.
No, I knew what you
Right
meant.
on the mechanical
I don't believe you.
sofa.
It's you put the quarter in at the mall and it just kind of rocks back and forth. The little sail fang.
The seahorse.
It does actually make sense from what we've seen of Ravnica as being this technological, worldwide city.
Ravnica
There
is
are
just
no
like
animals.
a torn, broken down Disneyland.
I love it. All right, so they take off
Golden's
going
awesome.
past the line up in front of the fortress once again, and you can see that the sun is starting to fall completely now. This race has been timed with the literal setting of the sun. The last lap should be right after the sun has fallen, or right as the sun has fallen beyond the horizon, and the sky is on fire with this beautiful display of reds, yellows, golds, and then that darker colors of purples, pinks, and blues as the night sky is starting to creep up from the opposite side.
When exactly should we make our way inside?
What do you mean?
Are we not exposed out here?
Everyone is watching the races. It will be fine. We can finish the race, and once the race is done, we can go about whatever business you want to attend to. There will be a mass celebration in the streets. There will be plenty of people to hide and disguise ourselves in plain sight if that is what you wish.
I mean, the effects of the other large crystalline building in the city.
I see.
DM forgets to put magic spell on city.
No. I just wasn't sure what you were being. It was very vague, so I was like, "Oh, I don't know why. What do you mean?" Oh, you mean that? For the most part, it is done sometime after sundown. Once most of the people are sleeping, it makes them a lot more susceptible to the spell's influences. While they are awake, there's always a chance that somewhere out there amongst the masses, there is a mage who might catch on to what is going on. But if a creature is sleeping, far easier it is then to charm them.
True enough.
So what were we gonna say?
Are we still in Iskra's room, or?
Yeah, you're at this basically the top of the salty Prince Tower. Is at the very top up there.
So, Soul's not really that interested when it comes to these races. So he's just gonna head over to Iskra's bed and just kind of like lay down and daydream, kind of twiddle with stuff, mess with like things.
Eat half the bed.
The bed is not made of salty taffy. Okay, it is just the walls.
Like the four corner.
The four corners.
The four corner.
The four corner posts are all Tootsie Roll.
He's like whittle it down to like a really thin.
It is just the whole room is just basically Candyland at this point. It's everything's edible.
Come with me and you'll see
a land of complete abomination.
Eating the teacups and stuff, the drinks that the bar come in.
Yeah, fully recyclable.
That, children, would be cannibalism, which is frowned upon in most societies.
Why? Because Soul is a tall drink of water?
Hey.
Okay.
So, Wind, you mentioned all of the merrymaking that's going to happen afterwards. That brings up an interesting point. Is Isidoros working tonight mostly, or enjoying everything with everyone else?
Honestly, darling, I don't know what you mean. She kind of gives you this like coy smile. And then leans out the window and her tail does that little like playful cat thing. Everyone is out in the city. It is going to be a beautiful night.
Of course. Take a sip of my drink.
Nice. The race then continues as the announcer comes on once again for the final round of this race.
I cannot believe it, folks. We have come to the final lap of this race. coming in. Crazy movements from Rada with some clever use of movements bring him to the very front of the pack tonight. You won't believe the things that we have seen along this racetrack tonight. Alkamar keeps his pace, still in second, tightly close to Rada as they go neck and neck. It is going to be a tight finish. Nasty J moves up to third as Hidage then pushes forward. Oh, I cannot believe it. Kamemi takes a nasty fall and is left behind in the dust.
And you can see coming from around the corner, the far distance, a tight pack of 3 of the Cellfangs, neck and neck, moving forward towards the finish line, galloping as fast as they can go. You can see some of them will gallop, stop, leap up into the air, and like try and sail over each other. There's this like almost looking like fish leaping from a river. They just kind of leap forward, running, leaping forward, dancing in through the air, gliding back and forth before landing and running past and through the finish line. There's a quick moment of like quiet before the crowd erupts in a roar and the Cellfang starts slowing down, dust filling the air, obscuring the very area around the finish line. The announcer is broadcast again throughout the city.
And that's it, folks. With this final race, Rada takes the lead and the win this year. Alkamar brings in second. Nasty J comes in third. Hidage fourth. Savap fifth. And Kamemi did not finish.
Well, second place ain't bad, I guess.
Well, best of the losers.
It's just an honor to be present.
Oh my god, that was great.
Rada.
Oh, Rada.
Perfect.
Rada.
That's like what I always say. Pierce Brosnan, it'll get you there.
Yeah. As his voice finishes echoing out across the city, you hear yet another voice that you have heard once before already at the beginning of this race.
Citizens of Amrutla, what a joyous festival has been brought to us this year, and we thank all the participants. Congratulations to the Falamon family for their backing of this year's champion. You have done Amrutlar and the Empire of Thay proud this weekend. Now it is with great pleasure that those here present amongst the members of the Red Wizard Elite bring a gift to all of Amrutla. The citizens have done their part in helping track down those responsible for nearly marring this event. And because of your good deeds, we bring this single gift to you all.
It is then that, Soul, you feel this chill go up your spine.
Oh.
Somewhere out across the desert, as now night has started to fall, you hear distant thunder. Where there had been not a cloud in the sky before. Your senses alerted now. You move over up from the bed and go to the window.
I didn't do it.
Is it really gonna rain on the parade, Renan?
From across the horizon, you can see clouds bloom and spread out across this area.
Something's not right.
And rather quickly,
What is Wind doing? Go ahead.
what is Wind doing? I'll get to that in a second.
Yep.
You can see the very, like, all the entire city is now covered in this one large cloud with lightning that kind of crackles and lights it from within. Not a violent storm, but a quickly spreading one.
Is it obvious to me that this is definitely not?
This is not normal weather. And rain starts to sprinkle the city and fall across the landscape. Wind takes a step back.
So do I.
She doesn't. She just looks like surprised, and just like, "Oh, that is unusual." And the rain just
rain
like
season, I assume.
no. In fact, it is rarely ever rained here in Amrutlar. I mean, it does on occasion.
We're in
but
the middle of a desert.
It does
Can I
not.
try to shape the water?
Yeah. You
Just
catch
pull it
some of the
out.
water that falls and just kind of like stops itself as it like freezes time looking, the rain kind of stops, then kind of comes together to form into a little large globule of water.
So
The voice,
it's raining right now, right? Right.
it's like a
in
light.
front of us.
In front of us, in front of you, outside, it is a light rain.
Primeval awareness.
Okay. You hear the voice come through once again.
A gift of refreshing rain for the victors to wash away the sweat and ardor and dust from the races. Enjoy this gift of life, Amrutlar. You have earned it.
And you can see now the area that has been in front of the fortress, where those banners have gone across. It seems those streamers have now created this magical barrier where the rain is falling over and off to the side, like some clear umbrella, preventing it from raining over the elite, basically. And people in the city and streets, like, there's this like odd mixture of like people going like, what? But then they are also cheering and excited, as rain of this quantity is very rare in the city, and it is definitely a special treat. You see plenty of people like start looking for buckets and things to kind of catch some of this water, as it looks like the rain is settling in. For it's not like a storm, and now that the clouds have covered this area, it definitely just seems to just be a light and gentle rain. Galil, as your primeval awareness, your focus, you close your eyes, you sense outwards. You get the same pings that you had felt before. All of the same speckled points of undead scattered closer to the proximity of the fortress. Some fiends there as well, and then some of those undead pinpricks out and across the cityscape. But nothing seems to have changed from what you have felt before. Wind goes over to Sonder as you bring this little globule of water in. She kind of just looks at it and like brings a claw and pokes it. That is a curious ability that you have.
Not met the water genasi before.
There are not much of any water here in the deserts, but especially water genasi don't come by frequently, I would say.
Yeah, this place is right in my skin. I'll be fine.
I'm gonna spin around from leaning on the balcony to leaning on it the opposite direction, so I'm facing in towards everybody. So, any hunches as to the angle here?
I don't trust the water. This was not a natural occurrence.
I do not trust any magic of Thay.
I'm just kind of like just looking around at entrances, at wind, make sure she's not double crossing us, and make sure Blaze Beak or whatever his name is doesn't come busting up in here.
Blaze Beak.
We just call him sponsor Backblaze.
Blaze.
Beyblade.
She just seems like she's poking around at like the little globule of water that Sonder has floating there in the room. And Sonder, what are you doing with the water? You're muted.
It wouldn't be a stream
I
unless
just
it was
wanted to
muted.
have it, see if it was,
Hit the
see if
mud.
it was water, and I'll dispel.
Yeah. We float the globule back out into the rain, and you just hear the loud little splash of it hit the ground down below at the bottom of the Salty Prince.
Can
These
I like?
barriers always up.
Go ahead. It's not important.
What are you going to say, Arjun?
Oh, Luthra is a mage of evocation, correct?
The mage
Okay.
of evocation.
The mage. Yeah, my thought doesn't really make a lot of sense. I was thinking that maybe trying to see through an illusion that was being cast on a grand scale, but I'm not even really sure how you do that other than staring at it and thinking, is that an illusion? I think that's mechanically all it requires.
That's pretty much how that works.
The sensation of rain outside is real. You can feel the air that has been so dry and arid up to this point now has that humidity to it of rain. The smell of freshly moistened earth starts to fill your nose. Yeah, petrichor. There you go. As the rain starts to fall, and you can now look, as you look out of the windows and out into the streets, as people start like with their either clothing or whatever, like just their hands like sheltering themselves as they like run back to their homes or run from like one shelf to the other. Some people are just start dancing around in the rain out in the streets. Clearly some are like, I don't want to get wet, and some of them are like, this is a miracle, like this never happens here in Thay, rain to this degree. And so there's just an interesting mixture of reactions, but for the most part people seem to be pretty pleased and enjoying this like cool, refreshing close to this celebration. Wind goes over to look out the window and just kind of like sticks a pod like a furry hand out and just kind of like feels the rain striking her skin before she brings it in and just like brings it and smells it, and it's his very real rain. Very peculiar. Although my first instinct, of course, is not to trust the Empire. This is a strange play for them. But not an unwelcome one, aside from the mess it is going to create.
Well, if you think about it, this is their first year hosting the New World Order. Why not put on a grand show of power and hospitality and give the people what they want? Let them eat cake.
Or in this case, buckets of rain.
It's my understanding that heavy rain in a desert where it never rains can lead to all kinds of damage and flood. Is there any place where that might be of some benefit to them?
The poor
Let's
parts of
light
town.
survey. Let's light survey.
The
Big deal.
tunnels.
So what'd you say?
The tunnels.
Oh, yeah. That is true. There is a lot of
Okay.
unused drainage
If they
that
know
would
that
allow the
we-
water to go down into the undergrounds of the city.
If our enemies know that we may still be hiding underground, maybe they're trying to rush us out.
Or flood us.
Right.
It would take water beyond measure to flood the entirety of the cisterns and caverns below Amrutlar, though.
Make it very dangerous down below.
That it is true. It would
Or
make
at least control the flow of it and channel it where they want, and then guard the ones that they don't want.
this is true. The city is built on a slope. All the water is going to go south.
How
Very
often does it
slowly.
rain here?
What is to the south?
The
Is
poorer
all the
sections
weather
of the city. The eastern road. No, I heard you. Sorry. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
is all weather controlled here?
It would not surprise me. Magic can do very many things, from my understanding of it
If
anyway.
you can control, yeah, if you can control the water in the city, you can control the people.
They already do that. This would just be icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Soul's going to do detect magic and stare out the window just to try to see if the rain itself has some kind of
Sure.
Magical properties.
Okay. Go for it.
Do I have to roll for that?
Go ahead.
Magic.
You just detect magic, but you can go ahead and do that this time. Let's see how much details you pick up.
Wait, why did it? Oh, there it is. What do you want me to roll for?
Arcana or nature? What would you like to roll for this?
I'll do nature. Both of them are the same for me anyway. The same
Okay.
stats. $17.
17? Cool. As you gaze out into the city around, you can see that the rain as it falls, there is no magic to the rain. But your mind does go to various druid abilities where you can control the weather and can make it rain. So it is not it's not a natural occurrence, but it's not a terribly unnatural occurrence when it comes to like magic things. That is possible, but it is generally reserved for those who study like magic when it comes to nature, versus, the more practical arcane stuff. Yeah.
Well, it seems like even though this rain is not a naturally occurring fall, the rain itself seems, as far as I can tell, safe.
So no problem drinking it then. I'm sure it's
Oh, I
going to be
wouldn't
on
do
a
that.
lot of menus.
I wouldn't do that either.
We might have no choice depending on where we go in town, unless we just.
I just
stick
look at
to
Galil like, we got him.
alcohol only.
We have what?
We got you
For what?
to drink.
Oh. Fair enough.
Also, just create the weather.
Supply the water.
Give him the water, he makes the wine.
Through mundane means.
I mean, it saves money too.
She's
So.
Wind kind of looking at everybody and just like, why not drink the water? It's clean and falling from the sky.
It's the government water. Can't drink the water.
The buckets work for the bourgeoisie.
Government water. Government cheese.
Nanobots. No.
My point exactly. When Soul seems to think it's safe, I trust him.
I still don't trust the Empire, but at least the water itself doesn't look like it is magical. Uh, I still don't trust the Empire at all.
I just still remember when we first got into the city or the country lines and all that nasty, wet, dank, stanky air water.
Do you mean?
Yeah,
Sonda,
that's pretty bad.
are you able to tell how pure this water may be?
I was able to just start holding it so fresh rainwater, it seems.
Okay.
I wouldn't be
I
able to
think
hold
you can.
it if it wasn't
Isn't that
mostly
one of the?
water.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that one of the things you can do with control water or whatever? Is like clean it from impurities. I feel like you've done that before, where you've like
I have.
taken out whatever's in it.
I know that's a paladin spell.
Sediment.
Yeah.
Take out
Purify
all the
will.
stink of the day.
Water.
That's nasty.
When the it's like, so this kind of makes things a little more difficult, perhaps at least dirtier when it comes to roaming about the city. If you are still wanting to do that, but it is not
How are you
impossible.
feeling? Do you want to get dirty?
Darling, it does not take much to get dirty or clean these days.
I'm kind of like soaking wet and I'm just nipping it with my dress.
You're just like
That was before it started raining too. That's the weird part.
You're like, I was gonna say, you're like kind of leaning back into the water, so it gives you this like flash
just, like,
dance,
full
this
on.
flash dance moment of the water coming down.
There's a 30% chance it's already,
It's already
raining.
raining.
Just
So
like
even
full on
notebook.
taking advantage of this.
If we trope around the city, trek around the city, we will get muddy. But with the rain,
It just means we'll have to
it'll
scrub
wash it
harder
away.
later.
As long as you brush me the right way, darling.
Oh, I know how to do that. I don't even use any hands for it.
Curious.
I just kind of walk back and go get a drink and let her think about that.
It's because he could make magic hands. I've seen it before.
Magic hands.
Don't take away a man's mysteries.
Oh, sorry.
Why I
No,
gotta
it
be over
gives
there
me-
dispelling magic?
Nice.
I didn't do that. I don't know how to.
I don't have that spell.
If we were gonna go traipsing about, where would you want to go? What would you recommend beyond your fine company?
I was going to suggest we go and walk towards the fortress. They are undoubtedly preparing for a grand gala and finishing feast of their own. We can see what we can see. But now it is much more apparent as there are less people milling about the city. She nods in that direction. You can see that indeed under that clear umbrella that is being made over their space where the ground is dry still in front of the stands, there is now tables being set up, but there are a line of guards that are basically standing at the line of water that is falling. There's a line of guards that are keeping certain people from crossing into this like protected space.
We had a nice reprieve. Let's not push our luck. I mean, all we need is for Fume to catch sight of one of us, and that's gonna be it.
Lightly
Lagant.
unfurls wings. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that we just had to lay low for a while. Remember Pro Campur, the dancing? That was fun.
What
Besides-
if this rain doesn't stop, though?
It can't possibly last for long. Once the
I don't know. We've dealt with something like that before.
You have.
Back in Neverwinter. That was due to a dragon.
Or did you feel one just now?
No. same pings as usual.
You say you can sense dragons?
More or less.
So you have
Sense a
sensed
great
them
deal more
before.
than that.
Oh yeah.
Is there any ending to the wonders that you people bring to the city?
Bring me
Didn't
water
you
and
like to
I'll
know?
give you more of a show. It's a glass would do.
She goes over to the table, grabs an empty glass, sticks it out on the rain, and then brings it towards you. This like soaking wet hand is dripping water from the cup. And she's like, so what is this trick of yours?
I just lean over, blow into it, and then say, drink it.
She like peers at it. Looks down again, looks up again, looks down, looks up, and then very like cautiously like brings it to her mouth. It is not water. That is very delicious wine. You can see her like she's like does that like closing her eyes to like taste every little sense that's on her tongue. I have not tasted wine like that for a very long time. That indeed is an exquisite gift. You may not be able to make it rain, but you can definitely bring happiness.
Oh, we invite him to every party.
At least for that. I'm sure there are other things he can do at parties that would be quite entertaining. And she leans over and like rubs her shoulder up against yours and like walks 2 fingers up your arm.
Renan decides that he doesn't like wind.
It's
Suddenly
like in
is a thunderstorm.
It's like in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You see the Japanese characters as menacing, just coming out of Renan.
Yep.
Wind looks at you. What? Three's company too.
Wow.
Throws
I can
wind off
juggle.
balcony. Now!
I
You can
juggle.
take them both under your wing.
Hey. Well, I, for one, am going outside. You're muted, sir.
Oh, should be the wind beneath your wing.
No! Disadvantage! No, I'm just kidding.
Will she, Sonder? Will she?
Will she be?
Will she?
You are the wind beneath.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
Academia?
She like looks outside, looks in the direction of the alleyway that she had told you about earlier, Iskra.
Yeah.
I'm going to go outside. Get a little bit of fresh rain. It will be nice to feel it for once before who knows when the next time that I get to sense this rain will be. You will all enjoy your time for now. I will come back shortly. I'm going to check on, see if there's any word from Dr. Murdoch. She turns and leaves the room. She opens the door before leaving. She looks at everybody and does a little like beep, 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 and then closes it before she leaves.
She dies. We riot.
Pay attention to her though, because she did drink the water that's coming down from there.
Yeah.
If she acts strange in any way, you know why.
Well, I mean, it's her. She's already.
He's a little strange.
Okay, if she acts more strange than usual, how about that?
Well, how do we know that the water, just doesn't absorb into our skin and
I'm
cause
gonna
the same
tell
effect?
Wind you're talking about her like that.
Wait, to who?
To you.
us?
Gestures to everybody.
Gestures broadly.
Listen, Iskra.
Arjun didn't say anything, so that's on you. People.
Soul didn't say anything. Wait, I didn't say anything either.
Oh, but in my memory, you both did.
Renan sits, he decides he doesn't like the wind anymore. And here Snows is like, excuse me?
Oh, sorry.
Shut the hell up. You're gonna get me in trouble.
Heard you were talking shit.
The magic, where'd it
Oh, all of a sudden, just like,
Yeah.
Oh no.
We're not gonna get a message and it says, "I'm not mad. I just think it's funny that."
Sure.
beautiful.
I just think I
Anyways,
should see other
Renan.
clerics.
Do you sense anything bad about the storm?
Reach out with my mind towards the winds.
And there is this cool. It is so strange for having been in this arid desert for days upon days. It seems like that you get now this like cool air, this almost refrigerated, breeze that comes through the room, and it's filled with that scent of rain and earth and fresh and life. And it's so bizarre for the experiences that you guys have been having here in the city over the last couple of days. The amount of death, destruction, and just dire grossness that seems always attributed with the Empire. It is for the moment a nice reprieve from all of that. And you reach out with your connection to the storm and wind, and it just feels so much like home. It feels natural and welcome. And that is one of the strangest feelings you have had, as you have this weird split between the reality of the situation and what you are feeling now. Where you are and how good this gesture seems to be. It's disarming.
There's little I can say that I should be worried about with this storm. It may truly be just a show of good faith.
I walk over to my things and pick up my Santor, try to pick the mood back up. Well, a song then for the rain and for our suspicions. I take the my sack of coins and I empty most of them out and tie it around my ankle, and then pull up a chair, sit down, get a little beat going with the jingling of the coins, and start to play.
Nice. All right. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Watching the rain.
Arjun's going to be watching to see, again, the crowd, if they're dispersing, what they're doing, what any of the guards are doing. If the, Thane elite tents have actually dispersed, or if they're still kind of shielded in there watching.
Can I look at the elites, see what they're doing as well?
Sure. You both make perception checks in that direction. Galil, Soul, what are you guys up to?
Soul's just going to kind of sit down on the floor and just be in the moment.
Okay.
Pay attention to where they're putting the sail fangs.
Okay.
No.
And I will hunches mark that shit too.
Yeah.
So,
at a higher level, so I know for longer.
Is there like a point on the balcony where when you look out you can just see the vast desert just of nothingness?
Mm-hmm.
I want to just take my bag and set it down. That way it's not getting wet, and then just go sit in the middle of the rain and just stare out into the vast desert. And now that I know about the Magicite and how it possibly could be related back to the Netharies, I just want to stare out there and just try to like rack my brain to see, like, looking there, trying to imagine the cities and everything, like anything from my past, if that jogs any sort of memory of knowing anything about it.
Sure. Make a history check then.
Almost trance-like, just staring.
Yep.
Sorry, I get real excited on that.
I love it.
Because I'm like, oh.
It almost feels like you just got burned because your hand goes back and you're just like,
Well, I got a nat 20, so for a total of 20 history, right?
Mm-hmm.
29.
Cool. All right, we'll get to that in a second. Right on.
Okay.
I would like to, given the fact that there's stuff going on in the sky, I would like to reach out to Hirsonos.
Okay. And?
I was going to let you finish with Kindred.
Okay. Well, we're going to go back to Ardrin and the blob over there. The dot of darkness with a t-shirt on.
He looks like one of those underwater scuba divers.
Yeah.
Yes.
It kind of does.
I mean, I know it's raining, but it hasn't rained that much.
He already put his helmet.
Session's
Scuba.
not over.
The scuba helmet's
I'll
ready
see
to
you
come
later,
on.
guys.
Listen here, man of honor.
Clank, clank.
He's giving us that Ollie Williams weather report.
Yeah. What?
It's raining sideways.
What is your?
It's raining.
What is your perception checks, guys? Or what was your perception check?
terrible.
For a total of 25.
A total of terrible at 15.
Oh, it's not bad, Sonder.
Balance
It's
is
bad
out
for
to a 20.
Sonder.
Listen,
And we can't give him the excuse that water is in his eye.
you can.
20,
That wouldn't make
Always at
sense.
his eye.
It's always-
25 for me looking for the sail things.
Okay.
There's some salt in his eye from looking.
Well,
Oh.
Sonder and Ardrin, as you are looking in the direction of the Thayans and their setup over there, you see that they're still have that umbrella that covers the area that is protecting their space, basically keeping the that area dry. Almost magically so. The dirt on the inside doesn't seem to have any like water spillage that runs through it or anything. It is just like this little
perfect
the
cutout.
perfect cutout of rain over the area where those ribbons of gold and red seem to be hanging between wall and buildings. And you see that now that you're looking that direction, you see that those same I'll say drapes. Those same streamers seem to be going down from the fortress itself, covering the entirety of the inner courtyard of the fortress. So it goes like fortress to wall, and then wall to like the buildings across. Just enough space to set up like a crowd now of people has been led in there. You can see them mingling about. Probably the rich end of this city, merchants like all the high and mighty would basically be gathered there under that umbrella, and they're still letting people in from the rain that have been making their way there from wherever they are at, but they are now part of this where it looks like they are going to have this banquet as a celebration for the end of this race. And there's now a lot of the people who have been out and about have now been enjoying their selves out in the rain are now starting to mill back to their homes. there's still that general vibrancy to the air, as if there's just like a happiness of the rain and this end of the celebration, and people, you can hear the like almost like a raucous laughter and like excitement coming from some of the open windows and doors of taverns that are not far from the Salty Prince, that even with the rain aren't completely muffled out. You can still hear that people are having a good time wherever they're going to go eat and drink for the night. The rooftops have mostly cleared out. Galil, you saw that over by the finishing line where the Sailfangs had been, and the stands that had been there filled with people watching the spectacle of the races as they went by. Those stands are now starting to sink back into the ground as the people are now dispersing in and out through the city. You watch as the Sailfangs and their jockeys, along with those who are celebrating there with the people right around the finish line, seem to be moving deeper into the city. And they're about like 600-700 feet away from where you guys are at. So it's a little distance, a little bit of a distance out there.
Oh.
Kindred. You focus in on your memories of Nethril, the city. There's still, like, these are not thoughts that you often dive into. For whatever reason, that's still something that kind of you don't dive into your memories often, particularly of this past life, because it is still there and it is fractured and not structured memory like you would hope.
And that's on travel.
But you get there and you start trying to remember where these stones could have been used.
Here we go.
And nothing in your memory strikes you as having been related to these properties. Sure, there were enchanted rocks and stones that the Nethril used to power some of their daily functions, their cities that were kept afloat. The mythalar that they would use to power much of their cities. But nothing that struck you as like this sand magicite, leading you to believe that whatever this is was a byproduct of the spell plague and the clash and fall of the Nethril Empire, where all of that intense amount of magic had to go somewhere as the world was ripped apart by the spell plague. All the power within Nethril that they contained and controlled, well, the cities crashed. Their airships fell from the sky. That magic had to have gone somewhere, and there are stories upon theories upon expeditions across the entirety of Faerun and beyond of strange things found out there that the spell plague had caused. This probably seems to be one of them. Renan, reaching out to your Stormlord, as it were, you get that moment of connection as though one of the random and sporadic crackles of thunder kind of echoes across the horizon. And the sound of this thunder is so crisp and clear, it's not marred by anything to stop the sound like you would in a forest. It's not muffled by anything, it just echoes out across the emptiness of the desert. And you feel that connection, that presence there of Hirsinos within your mind, within the room, within the storm.
I am reminded today of the gifts you gave me. Thank you for them all.
I do what I can, child. I do what I can.
That's just my prayer for today.
Okay. The crackle of thunder echoes out again. And Arjun, what were you gonna say?
So Kindred's over by the window or leading out the window?
Yeah,
Like
sitting
full
on
on
the
in the rain, just
just
getting
on the
drenched, just
on
staring.
the balcony, kind of
Oh,
edge,
okay.
like looking out.
Arjun's going to join him and kind of like lean forward, yeah, elbows on the railing, kind of arm to arm, looking out at all this and sort of directs his attention towards the fortress because you said I could see the courtyard because apparently I have Orlando Bloom eyes.
Well, I mean,
not
it
that.
is probably like 300 or 400 feet away, so you can't see into the courtyard, but you can see the effects of those streamers are having of creating this like umbrella like blanket of no rain.
But did I see or have it intimated to me that like people were funneling into the fortress?
Not into the
Or certain
fortress,
classes of
just
people.
in that there is that space of umbrella clarity in front of between fortress and the city itself. There's like that wide avenue of the street that goes in front of the fortress walls, and they are gathering there. The doors to the inner parts of the fortress are open. You can see some people move back and forth that direction, but you can't see inside the walls themselves.
That makes sense.
But it
Confused
seems
about
like they are gathered there in front of the walls.
But under the streamers.
Yes.
So I look at all I direct his attention towards the quote unquote protected people, and then down into the plebeian sea of unprotected people. Kindred, do you think that with all the things we've been seeing them do with, making people into something else,
I've already thought about that.
I really didn't want to say it out loud, but
Don't. Some things are better left unsaid, but understood. It's a pity what these people suffer with ignorant bliss, but thought about that.
so either way, we're gonna have to get into that building. You all right? You look like you were somewhere else for a minute.
Kind of was just. I cracked the cipher. So this magic, these stones, they call it magicite. Has very unique properties depending on the magic used upon it. And it's, I'm guessing it's the byproduct of the fall of my people.
Are you saying this out loud?
Or kind of like hushed voices and with the rain, unless you're like intently listening.
And
I
I'm
figured.
also playing music in the space.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
She's giving
depending
us some
on
sweet
where you
ambiance.
are between me and them,
We're,
and all
we're
that,
ASMRing.
you might be able to.
No, probably not. Then I'm sitting on the floor, kind of somewhat near Iskra, listening to the music.
Tell me all about what you just.
Nice.
Love it.
As you guys are having this conversation, is there anybody who is still peering out in that general space, or was that Sonder? You're looking over at the those people over there, right?
Yeah.
You hear there's something about when Iskra starts playing that you turn your attention inside for a second. down below on the street.
Posture check.
Posture check.
Everybody, who down below on the street as you turn away, an individual in a cloak looks up at the building of the Salty Prince, but sees no one in the open windows near the top. Her attention focuses back on the fortress as her and her 3 companions walk through the rain, hoods up and drawn over them as the rain falls on them.
Let the rain fall down.
How far away are they from me?
Well, you didn't see that. This was one of those like fortuitous as you looked inside. She looked
Camera
up.
pans away from Sonder.
But you turn back and you see this individual. These like amongst the people, you see 4. You know, they kind of mingle in with the crowd. There's no distinguishing marks because they're just wearing cloaks in the rain. But you watch as these, you know, a group of 4 walk towards the fortress.
Lagan, Fume, Televor. I wonder how.
And
Bench.
Damn it! Dum dum dum. Oh
That
man, that bitch. All right, and it is on that note.
Dragon.
There you go. And on that note, we are going to go to break as we have reached 9 o'clock tonight. So we will be
It's
back.
7 o'clock. Where is Usher?
We will be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. And enjoy some messages.
Actually, go to the Salty Prince.
Oh yeah, you wanna go to the Salty Prince. Here, you know what? Since you didn't, in case you didn't hear how good the Salty Prince was as a place, let me just
what they've won.
Let me just remind you, a trip to the Salty Prince.
Hello. Hello. Do you tire from a long day on the road? Are you looking for a way to blow off some steam from your daily struggles? Do you feel like you should be treated as royalty? Then come on down to the Salty Prince Spa, where our eager staff is ready to tend to all of your needs. Our care team is experienced with a combined 85 years of tender care. And who knows, maybe you'll get a salty surprise from the prince himself. Salty Surprise is Prince brand saltwater taffy. Any extra propositioning or offers from the Prince should be accepted only at your own risk. NDA required post Salty Surprise experience. Not available at all locations. Extra charges may be present in Habrua and the Moonshade Isles. Ha ha ha. Don't be salty. Come, exalt me. Salty Prince.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Ooh, I don't know why I was talking like that. That's enough of that.
It was Nezek.
The very spooky episode.
Very spooky episode. What was it yesterday? Drummy put in chat. He's like, "Is everybody vampires in Ravnica?" Like, no. It's just. I see where you could be getting that.
Off.
Yeah, no, not yet. Who knows? They might need to go take out a loan or something. We'll have to get.
Don't do it. Death does not mean that you forfeit that loan. They will collect one way or another.
Sitting there in Satan's court.
You
The
weep
defendant
for thy
is
fools.
not
Your
released.
soul is mine. I just want to be planted in the Golgari Rot Farms and just come back.
Yeah, just why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, here we go. So, as you guys are chillaxing in your room now that the sun has set and the city is starting to darken, except for the little lights that are popping up across the city as little lanterns are being lit within buildings. You can see most of the light seems to be coming from the windows and doorways of establishments, as a lot of the outdoor lighting and lanterns are currently, not able to be lit, as they are not really built for being lit or while it's raining. But the light rain continues. Oh, that's not light wind. This is light rain. There we go. As the rain continues outside, Iskra, Kindred, Galil, and Renan, since you guys are here currently, what are you guys doing?
Stopping playing. I'm gonna get up and walk over towards Ardrin, and I'm gonna say, you know, Ardrin, I think you're the one person in this room I haven't danced with yet.
You know, I've been thinking about that. Shall we?
Hey, read my mind. Thank you.
We'll say for the moment, Sonder starts taking over playing for you guys while you guys dance as he continues the ambience.
I actually,
ambience.
out of character, have been giving this thought.
Oh, yeah?
The idea started with who would even lead, and the answer I came up to was it almost wouldn't matter who would start leading, but Arjun would lean into the idea of the ebb and flow of water because of Iskra, so that over time it would sort of ebb and flow who was actually leading, and eventually it just wouldn't matter. It would just be a
Iskra
very
enjoys
fluid, graceful
this notion. I am absolutely going to improvise as we dance and just see where it takes us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to get to know someone.
Nice. Do I have...
The irony being that the only person I have danced with was Iskra.
Aw. Well, she's busy now, so you have to find somebody else.
Let's see how your kind dances in Ruvian Boy. And I'll go over and just grab Renan.
Yeah.
I will start into like a traditional one of our elven dances and see what he comes of it. See how the elves dance in Ruvian.
Oh my god.
I start going into one of the more formal high elven dances that we use in Ruvian because Avarial dances are a little more chaotic.
It's just a mosh pit.
I just don't know that Kindred would be particularly comfortable 3 feet off the ground. Well, I mean, actually.
I feel like he's the kind of boy that would enjoy getting swept off his feet.
Nothing.
Are you set the mood or something?
No, I'm just changing music. It just changed me. I was literally trying to find something.
Mm-hmm. Let me just slip into something more comfy. No.
That is true. I forgot that Kindred is. I don't think there's anything left for you to get comfier in.
Just take all off at that point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's basically
Take it off. Take it off.
And naked and in the air would make you literally skyclad. So
that's a different Avarial dance, okay?
So they make you
picture
Avarials.
myself like in 300 when the oracle's all like
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wait. Okay.
That is a natural 20 performance check.
You sweep me off my feet, and I'm pleasantly surprised and wet and wet.
It's funny because it's true.
Yep. And I'm having a very good time with this dance.
Oh my.
I'm not nearly as wet as you, darling.
I know. Let's see if we can change that. And I look over.
When he left the room, Jesus.
I know. How are the other two dancing? How are y'all two?
Just
Yeah, go ahead and make
this.
Yep. Go ahead and make Go ahead and make performance checks for me.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, why not?
Oh yeah. I wasted my nat 20 earlier, so I'm probably going to be stumbling everywhere. Performance.
He gets this one.
If you need
Okay,
it, I got a
that's
little
not
Cialis
terrible.
potion. No.
There you go.
28.
You know, I got a natural Danik. So,
Nice.
27.
All right. So as the two couples start dancing around the room to Saunders' playing, it is a very magical to and fro from the both of you as you, as Iskra, you display this poise and gracefulness with your practiced footwork. You know, martial artists, there's a lot of footwork in there. So you're able to keep wherever that Arjun might stumble a minute. Not stumble so much as in like completely.
I rolled higher. You want to use a different word there?
Well, you know, she still rolled, you know, she got a natural 20. So just switching it up a little bit whereas like
Per your words,
it's
that
the
only
two
counts in attacks.
yeah, it's true. It is not like I said. It's not like you stumble. It's just the differences of that switch, like you had said, from leading to following to leading to following. Like when you lead, she blends it in very nicely, and that switching back and forth is a very smooth transition, and never done in a way that like befuddles either one of you. Is that?
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
Yeah, there you go. Sure. That's the one.
You know what I would like to use for my the natural 20 as far as the performance check is?
Sure.
As the song comes to an end, Renan will kind of wrap Kindred very closely and like picking up off the ground, do a spinning drift back down before landing in the final note.
Whoa. A very fancy dance indeed. As you start dancing in the air a la Sleeping Beauty and Prince Charming, just kind of like dancing and the dress changes colors as you keep going.
Yes.
Or like in that newer movie. Oh god, now I can't think of it. God dang it. The La La Land, where they're dancing and singing.
In the planetarium?
The planetarium.
Oh, I never saw that.
I need to see this movie. It is on my to-do list.
Yeah, it's good.
Get to Diane. Hello, Hecko Gecko. Thank you again for your lovely art contribution to the Salted Prince. Everybody loved it. Just wanted to give you the shout out.
Quick question, Hecko. Were those fire salamanders?
I don't remember what. I think so. I don't remember. We'll see what she responds here in a minute. Okay. So, as you guys are...
We're killing it on the dance floor right now. Is what we're doing. Not
It's matter
dying.
on the dance floor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the little disco lights start coming out.
After the song, looking at Kindred, so what do you think of Ruvian dancing now?
If we're still embraced, I just kiss you. That's what I think. As I kind of blushed in extra nipping.
Love it.
In Ruvian, under like just kind of taking a step back. Well, that was interesting. And gives the proper ending to an high elven dance and gives a slight bow.
It's returned, and then I just go Santi on over and get myself a drink.
Ooh, everybody getting boozy. All right, cool.
Boozy.
Nice, good job, Kindred. You nailed it. They are salamanders. Nicely done. Nice. Okay. Then, anything else that you guys are wanting to do before Wind returns?
Have more shit up, Wind.
I'm not done after one song. And then like looking at Soul isn't dancing yet. Galil's not dancing yet. I want to try to like motion him over and get like a group dance going.
Do a little dance circle.
Lasso
Yeah.
them over.
Exactly, right?
Yes.
Soul's looking like, is there supposed to be something here?
I use the water from outside, the raindrops, to do like a very a more playful water whip. And
Perfect.
I like the idea that there's a
Signal that
Thayan
he's coming
soldier
around.
outside who is seeing this exact thing going, you know what, I'm going to let him have this one.
You have to be on the rooftops to see into this space. So, you should be fine for the time being. But Galil and Soul, do you partake in the little dancing?
In the dancey dance.
So we'll try to attempt to do a little jig, a little.
all right, yeah, group dance begins.
Yes, I do.
Did we kill you? Sorry, did you choke? Oh no.
Now,
Did you
Vernon is
choke on the
shifting
dance
into a wood elven dance that he knows.
I love it.
He's going to roll performance to see
Sure.
how well this. Soul
Remember,
dancing does.
I taught you, Soul.
So roll with advantage. Why not?
Dude,
Okay.
do not let me down.
Okay, well. No way.
Double
The
ones.
second roll is a natural 20, so it's
Yeah.
so technically it's a 19.
Everyone's killing it.
Everybody's doing a damn fine job. Damn fine.
He is mentally trying to remember the steps that Iskra taught him.
Just a 16 for me.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, you're not doing bad. I mean, it's not like a crazy DC. We was just seeing how well you're able to keep pace, but the tunes are easy enough, and you're familiar enough with the songs that Sonder plays that you guys are able to kind of keep up and continue to kind of dance and enjoy the moment for the time being.
That advantage really helped Iskra's teachings because the first roll would have been a 2.
Wow, indeed. Good job. Okay, so let's say that it's not long after before there is a gentle knock on your door.
I'm gonna like dance over towards the door and
Okay.
I get it.
pop it open.
Hello. You see Floria there. Hi. Is everything good? Like, do you need anything? It seems like you guys are. Is that rain?
Oh, you haven't got to see? Yeah, come on.
Is that Sister G?
No, I didn't. Oh my goodness! And she goes up to the one of the windows and like reaches both hands out, and like the water starts like pouring down her arms, and she's like, "This is amazing! What? The race? Did the race end because of the rain, or what happened?"
No, it was a prize for all of Thay.
Wow. All right. No, I didn't know. I've been inside. I thought I heard something strange on the roof, but I didn't know what it was, and I didn't go by.
Look at Soul.
I didn't go by anywhere, so any of the windows or anything. So I wasn't sure what the noise was.
Take a break for a while for you. No one else is working.
Well, that's true. But Charisma's over at and as at the event, and I don't know when she's gonna get back. She was
with Blaze.
Yeah, she went with Blaze Fellow. She was his +1 for the event tonight, apparently.
Oh.
Well, if you won't
You
tell
think
anyone, I won't tell anyone. How would you like to dance on the balcony in the rain?
I don't
He's a
know.
great dancer. I highly suggest it.
She looks back.
I'm
at
already
the door.
kind of just like doing like the florid bow.
Is she carrying
hand
like a
gesture
tray or
out.
anything?
No, she
I'm
just
looking-
she literally was like,
So it's
Looking
gonna
at her.
gently, very gently, just kind of like give her a nudge on the back, shoulders.
Come now.
okay.
You don't think that the princess would like to hear that you didn't want to dance with us?
That's not fair. All right, fine. She goes over to Ardrin and goes out
Starts
into
twerking. No.
yeah, out in the rain.
Break it down, y'all.
I'm just
Dark
picturing
monkey
just
comes
like
on.
tall Ardrin, and then she's a
Halfling girl.
halfling. Yeah, trying to back it on up, and he's just okay. Well, how do I work with this?
Climbing all that
Get
sequoia.
off my feet!
It's
Yeah,
like
she's
start
making-
singing.
I was gonna say it kind of reminds me of like those father-daughter dances where like the little girl's like standing on the dad's feet and she's like he's just holding
Dude,
her
for a
hands.
child, I feel like it would be a little demeaning to do.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
but I just
right.
was visualizing like your
Unless
hands
she
down.
requests that.
Iskara's gonna start singing Lil Jon.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you
Yeah.
drop it low when you're already low?
Oh no! Just drop it lower.
You gotta do the
You just
cooking by
sit
the
down.
book.
Yeah. Yep. You know exactly what I was thinking. Yes. Break it down, y'all. See me back it out.
All right, perfect. All right, so Galil,
Okay.
you go over to the door. You're just gonna said you were keeping a lookout or whatever. Cool. Yeah, she enjoys the rain with you out on the balcony, Ardrin. Before she comes, once the song ends, she comes back inside and just kind of like quickly starts like shaking off the water.
I just like put my hands over her and like kind of twirl a bit and press to
Try and give her a little bit of a twirl while he does that to make it more magical.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Now
just
click
like
your heels 3 times. Just
And she teleports.
and she's gone.
my bad.
She vanishes. But yeah, Floria now.
Computer,
now,
I'm done. Log out. What?
now she's completely dry, and she is just like, thank you again for the little dance, with me, Ardrin. I don't, normally get to enjoy these sort of
The
things,
fact
so
that
it's
you don't normally do that at all makes it all the more special to me.
she kind of just smiles and blushes a little bit. Thank you. Is there anything that you all need? More refreshments or food or anything?
Do you have anything like bread, pastry, kind of just soak up? We've been drinking quite a bit.
Sure, yeah, of course, I can bring you some bread. No problem. I'll be right back. And she goes towards the door. As she goes past Galil, she like pats you on the arm. It's like, thank you for keeping an eye out. And then whoop, disappears down the stairs.
You know,
Oh.
Kindred,
Too fast.
you really are such a lightweight. And this is coming from somebody with hollowed bones. Like grinning almost mischievously.
Listen here. If we were back in the college, that's a totally different story. See, I'm on alert, and I can't just let my file fully go.
Of course.
If that was the case, it'd be a whole different story. And it would be like that night you and Galil ended up in your underwear, passed out in his little cottage.
What?
Yeah,
Alrighty.
Tet tells me the servitors carried you.
What?
What the fuck?
What do you mean?
Yeah. Thank you for knowing that.
What do you mean a Tet told you?
We don't
Tell me.
speak about Bruno.
Who is Bruno?
Want to wait for later?
These two got in a kissing contest and ended up just had to be taken back to his quarters in Tet. Fun times.
Hmm.
But if that was the
Like-
situation, it'd be a different Kindred.
Cool.
I wish I could have some of my tribe's mead right about now too.
The for your catch up, Sonder. After Iskra had finished playing, she had wanted to dance, so then we just had you start playing music instead while she danced with Ardrin, and then Kindred and Renan started dancing together, and then Iskra pulled Galil and Sol into like a little dancing circle while you continued to provide ambient music for everybody before Ardrin roped basically Floria as she came to check on you guys, convinced her to dance as well. And so that is where we are at right now.
Oh, and Kindred kissed me.
Oh yeah, Kindred kissed
Yes.
And it was
Oh,
hot.
there was that.
That's important.
Yes.
All right.
Would you say that there was a spark?
Kindred
I hope
finds
not.
Hunter's mark on him.
Fucking wizards in this. That's like electricity. Oh wait, that
Cast a
was
spell.
Everyone's making enemies today.
It's gonna be like a Spanish soap opera.
Hi.
Gasp in Spanish.
Betrays you in Spanish? Wait, what?
All right. So what are you guys doing for the time being?
Just grooving.
All right.
pretty much.
Reviving.
So
I'm
as you
going to
guys,
find Kindred to continue the dance because why
Right,
not?
pressing the vibe check.
yeah. So Floria comes back bringing you bread and a couple more like snacks to go with the beverages you've had. The rain has continued unabated, unslowed. It hasn't increased in any sort of like intensity, but you can see now outside that everything is completely soaked and that there are little mini waterfalls coming off the side of buildings where there's like, they don't really have gutters, but they have the little openings on the side where the water that kind of just pools over the side. And you can see these little tiny waterfalls now sprouting out across the cityscape as the water starts draining from rooftops and creating little rivulets and rivers that are running down through the city. As it's not, like I said, it's not a terrible strong slope from the north part of the city to the south, but there is a slope that runs down that direction and past. It doesn't it doesn't flatten out at the southern end of the city. It just continues to kind of slope to where there's like a little bit of a ravine before that meets the river. And so you imagine that the water is still just kind of running down that direction. So not really in any danger of flooding the southern parts of the town, but by the time it reaches the southern parts of the town, you better believe it will have picked up speed and quantities of water.
So then, looking at that, calculating, redirecting my route, if we were to go back to Tall Bob's, where is that in location to this downpour water flow? Would that be like going downwards?
If you were staring straight out south, heading south of the room, looking south, the Sandworm's Brew would be east by southeast of you. So it's still in the richer side of the city, and it's probably only 3 or 4 rows or streets down, and then further closer, it's more on the harbor side of the city.
But the tunnels and passages that we noted take to get in between, would it be safe to assume that those are probably going to be flooded for the time being?
Because of where the tunnel structure is, it is basically at the top of this underground cavern. There would have to be a substantial amount of water underground first to reach those upper levels. It is not impossible, but it is not. It'll take some time before that amount of water, for the water to reach that high up.
So no like strong flows going through there either?
Through the
potentially?
area, I mean, there could be a couple of like runoffs that would go across some of the area, but you'd have to like go down there and check.
I kind of really don't want to. And we do know that would be safe from the thing tonight in here. And shall we just bunk up?
Yeah, we got 3 rooms, so
Not all of us necessarily sleep, so.
though, yeah, if there's gonna be a flash flood situation, I hope Wynn gets back.
I'm sure she can take care of herself. She knows what she's doing. She's got 9 lives after all.
Is she for sure coming back here?
Well, she said she would be, and I'm gonna have another drink.
Well,
I'm
she
gonna
did say she was
go-
going to go and find Murdoch, not necessarily that she was going to come back.
She
Pretty
did say.
sure she should be back.
Did she?
Yeah, she said she was gonna go see
Okay.
if she could
My
find word from Murdoch, but she was gonna come back.
Then let us know.
I'm gonna go check up on Oreo and see if the stable is flooding or not.
Aw, too late.
That Oreo's long been dunked.
Yeah, we just see a cat tied to a post floating 10 feet off the ground.
It's like in Homeward Bound when Sassy falls in the river.
No.
It's a good thing she can fly. Huh?
Sassy!
That's from Sassy. Oh, I remember. That brought back
Yep,
memories.
that's what I'm doing, Aaron.
Never better. Never better.
I'll be back. Bye.
Was it Sally Field? Right? What was that? The actress? I think so.
I thought it was Roseanne.
No. At least not for the first. Not for the first Homeward Bound.
Sally
Oh, a
Field.
dog stroll.
Sally Field is the one from Mrs. Doubtfire, right?
The mom. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The whole time. The whole time.
I walked to Texas and back with my daughter Cat. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So Galil, you go downstairs, and outside the
Fine. Salted Prince?
Salty Prince. Thank you. My brain.
Welcome.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, where are we again? What's happening? As you walk outside, you like pull your hood up over your head as you kind of go. There's a little bit of like a covered awning that kind of leans to the around the building and to the back where the stables are, and it is a stable set that is partially dug into the very edges of the wall of the plateau. So this spa, this tavern, kind of sits up at the very edges of the wall, overlooking the rest of the city. And you there, as you are approaching, there's this like sheets of water that are running down the sides of this thing and running in these like deep little gullies that have now been created out down and around. But walking into the yeah, I see. Walking into the stables, you see looks really no different than any horse stable you have seen, although they are extremely. It is a very well kept place. Let's see here. There's my list. So this one. Yes. As you go inside, you hear a man call out, or say Ravnican, in Thayan.
Now that would be a treat.
Gritesh? And he this human man dressed in stableman's clothing comes around the corner and just does a little bow. Kritish, Kivoy. How can I help you?
No. For Aaron. For Adam to Aaron. What did you say?
He's speaking in Thayan.
I know, but I could not hear what you actually said. Like,
don't worry.
You wouldn't have understood.
You wouldn't have understood me.
okay, making sure.
You didn't miss anything.
Making sure, because
yeah.
Adam could not hear that.
Yeah. He's just like, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm actually looking for my animal.
Oh. Are you the one who has he like
The
points
flying
back?
cat?
flying cat. That sounds right. Sure. Sure. This way, and like leads you back and around a corner as you see the stables kind of make a crossways pattern, and she is at that four-way intersection. It'd be on the left, and you go down that way, and there is one. Most of the doors are open. There's not, in fact, anybody else staying in here. It seems. They get to one of the stables, and you have Oreo there. Seems fine. Nice and dry.
Nice and dry, and no water leaking into the stable or anything.
Mm-mm. Not from where. Not maybe closer to the doorway, but this is further back, and it's still built at that angle where the water runoff would go south, away from the wall.
Baby girl.
And
Wind? What? This is your cat, yes?
Yes. I just came down here because the rain outside is something else.
It's a blessing from the Empire.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure that she was all right down here.
We do our very best to take care of people's property.
That's good to know.
Trust
Trust me, she may look violent as hell, but she's adorable.
Sure, I have kept distance from cat. Not getting close. Big teeth.
Oh, she won't attack. She won't hurt a fly, unless if she's
He's
provoked.
sitting there, like right this moment, just batting away at a fly on the ground.
Sure, I take word for it. She's eating a lot.
Oh, hungry, eh?
I assume meat is good.
Oh yeah, she eats anything.
Definitely hurts flies, but it's fine. How are you liking your stay in the Salty Prince?
Oh, the baths are amazing.
Good. Good Yelp review?
What's Yelp?
Don't worry about it.
The sound he makes when Oreo bites him.
Oh no, when Oreo bites, it's not a Yelp.
Yeah. All right. So just checking, are you satisfied with her care?
For now.
All right, cool. Alrighty.
As I log into Yelp, do not go here.
Too many fans.
Evil man doesn't even speak common.
Barely speaks
The
common.
audacity.
All right. You head back out into the rain and back upstairs where the rest of the gang is kind of currently having a bit of, a relaxing moment. It is not long after Galil you return that there is another knock at the door, but only twice before the door opens and Wind steps inside. Oh my goodness, it is raining so hard outside. Well, for comparing to no rain, this is plenty of rain.
Enjoy yourself out there?
It was different than I anticipated. And she looks down, muddy boots. But I'm sure will wash away in time. I'm
Is
not
she
worried about
completely drenched or?
She had in her arm. She carries like a cloak that looks like it taking the brunt of the water. She still looks a little wet, but not like completely soaked through. Seems like the cloak kind of shed some of that water off a little bit.
Arjun will shrug off his coat and kind of drape it over her shoulders and kind of just doing the thing that she tends to do, where she gets up in people's personal space, and he's just gonna just rub her shoulders, like on the outside, and then just make that whole show of it.
Yeah. Well, as much as I would love to continue to spend time with you lovely folks, it does appear that the body has had their meeting. Murdoch was awaiting you downstairs in the dining room.
Oh, right now?
Oh, whenever you desire.
It would
He's
be
So in the
rude to
morning?
keep him waiting.
I would not suggest waiting till morning. He is here to eat and enjoy himself for the
We
evening.
save room for dessert, and I'll just head that way.
Oh my god. I love it. He's a curious
Walking
one.
behind Kindred, just shaking my head.
I'm gonna take my glass with me. I'm gonna pick up another one and hand it to Wind, and then head down if she takes it. And
Yeah,
then
she
head
takes
down
it.
that way.
Immediately takes a sip. As she follows you guys and starts heading downstairs. Those of you who leave, everyone's going, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Cautiously going. I'm not just like drunk and carrying to the wind, but like looking out for Blaze back or whatever his name is.
Alrighty.
You have stairs to walk down to. And
Yeah,
I'm going to grab a bottle and then leave.
Alrighty. Sonder.
I'll finish up my performance and bow then head out.
Wind actually waits until you, the last person, leaves, and if you are the last one out, she hooks an arm through your arm as you leave. I'm so sorry that I had to miss your playing. It sounds like you do a wonderful job with those fingers.
It's something I picked up along the way.
Oh, traveled much, have you?
The art of my father,
Was he a musician?
of sorts.
Oh, how nice. You must have had a most endearing and lovely childhood to have been traveling with a musician and learning the craft.
The very short and wonderful childhood. And I'll continue forward.
She leans her, as you walk, and she keeps pace with you. She leans her head on your shoulder. Perhaps you can tell me more sometime, when you want. I'm not here to pry.
Sometimes I'm like that. You seem like good company.
Darling, I am nothing but the best at keeping people company. And she kind of chuckles a little bit and continues to walk as you guys trail down the stairwell to the little dining room with where you had met Doc Murdoch before. Now here inside this room, you see him dressed basically exactly the same as before, completely dried. Didn't look like he'd been touched at all by the water outside. As he leans back in his chair, a goblet in his hand as he just seems to swirl the liquid around inside. A plate in front of him looks like it had a couple of things on there before, but he's already consumed some empty grape stems and looks like either a loaf of some crumbs from maybe some of the bread that's on the table. He sits back and just swirls his cup. Well, how did you all enjoy that fine display of arcane and muscled reptilian fortitude outside?
It was a pleasure.
Quite thrilling.
Informative, really.
Indeed, the Empire never ceases to amaze me in the ways that they befuddle the minds of the masses. Did you all place any bets on the race before it started, or you just watching for the fun of it?
A little of both.
Fair enough.
We aren't depriving you of your own enjoyment of the festivities.
No, I've long since given up the life of happy and fun time. Kind of gives a little bit of a sarcastic smile. I'll enjoy myself in all in due time, but there had been business to attend to first, and I do intend to partake in the festivities at some point in the evening, but the night is still young.
So, these drinks in all of our hands, are we toasting to a deepening of our relationship?
Why don't you all have a seat?
I will take one.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull a chair out for Iskra.
Ew,
you.
how nice.
Bill waits for someone to pull out a seat for him.
Oh, I was waiting there forever.
I know.
Sonder, you're muted, Sonder.
Renan looks for a chair that has no back.
I'll lead
See what you
Wind
do
over
is you just turn it.
I'm sure he usually does, right?
and never sit there.
Because
Okay.
that's
Sorry,
hip hop.
what did Saunders?
Sit
What
next
did
to
you say? It was a little hard to hear you.
I'll lead
Wait, what?
Wind over to a seat next to Murdoch.
All right.
Never sit
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Sit next
For
to
sure. Alrighty. All right. As you all take your seats, did someone hold a seat out? Take a seat out for Soul or no?
If I
was
see that
kidding.
he's,
Where are you sitting?
does he actually kind of look a little dejected, or does he kind of look like he's expecting something?
Soul usually waits until everyone sits down to see where he has room to actually fit.
Oh,
Come on over here next to me, Soul.
Okay.
No.
yes, Daddy.
My God.
I like that meme for a second.
Off topic, I really want Soul to meet Ton. So bad.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty great. Okay. As you all sit, and he takes another swig of his glass. So you said you wanted to make a toast to a deepening of friendship.
Well, depending on how those talks went.
Well, I would be lying if I said that they went as I had expected them to. Unfortunately, my comrades do not share the same sentiments that I do when it regards to letting people from the outside, whom we, with no disrespect, only just acquainted ourselves with, into the fold, as it were. You have done us a great service. That much cannot be argued. You have ingratiated yourselves and indebted yourselves to a degree with our organization. As such, our hospitality remains the same. We are willing to continue to allow you to stay within our secret places, as it were, for the time being, until you find yourselves a way out of the city. However, my companions seem to have me outvoted. We will not be aiding you in your actions against our former allies. And though they are former allies, we are going to determine what our next move is as it relates to them.
Have they universally agreed that they are former?
It is to my understanding, they all seem to be of accord that the Empire has fuddled us over. Now, what that means for the Isidoros, we are yet to determine, as that involves a lot deeper conversation than a single afternoon.
So long as we will not be making enemies of anyone by making any moves of our own, I think this is agreeable.
And therein lies a fly in the ointment. You are allowed to stay within our secret places. We will provide you with modicum of protection and a place to hide your hat, as it were. But if you are to move against the Empire, you will no longer be welcome within the graces of the underground. You will have to do so on your own and find your own places to hide during and after such events. That being said, I am not here to dissuade you from doing these things. I personally, let's just say I don't necessarily have a vendetta against the Empire, but they have definitely rubbed me the wrong way.
If not the Empire directly, then what about against the Cult of the Dragon?
They seem to be related to a certain degree.
Oh, well, as do we.
Do you have an arrangement with the Thayans or the Cult of the Dragon?
I see where you are going with this, you clever fox of a devil, man. I suppose to the letter of our arrangement, it is with the Thayan Empire that we have made our alliance. As good as that word is these days. The Cult of the Dragon seems to, on paper, I suppose, be an ally of the Thayans from another degree. So from a certain point of view, I can see how you might come to that understanding that they are technically not a part of the Empire. However, there would be others who would argue that an ally is an ally and therefore falls under the same canopy, if you will.
Well, does that mean that if we make action against Empire, and are you expected to ally with Empire to fight by them?
It is undecided what we are going to do with the Empire at this time. All I know is that the body has decided that if you were to move against the Empire, we do not want to be any part of it. Just
But does
in
the
case.
Empire expect you to fight?
It has never come to that, I suppose. Our arrangement hasn't been one of protection from outside sources. We just merely leave each other alone and to our own devices, as mutually beneficial as those devices might be.
So
Never
then
has
last
anybody
question.
been so bold as to come and attack the Empire within this city. So these are uncharted territories, if you will.
First time?
What were you gonna say, Kindred?
What was I gonna say? So then if we were to find ourselves in a situation where the Empire struck us first and we were merely defending ourselves of any immediate threat and danger, would this be seen as an act against them or just self-defense to a degree, as long as it's not a necessary force?
I suppose at that point it is just a matter of the degree of which those hostilities occurred.
Noted.
As they
Problem
said.
is-
Go ahead, we're gonna say Sander.
The problem is that they are actively hunting us. So there is
And-
no circumstance where the Empire moving against us, the rest moving against them, will ever result in peace. They are hunting us, myself, the people in this room.
So then we lay low and hide.
Is there a way that we can possibly persuade the entire body of Isidoros?
You did say that there were opportunities to work. Maybe I could work for some of the body directly.
If we can sway them with our work and our capability, perhaps
Or
we can
just
gain an
perhaps
audience with them.
letting them know what Lady Lou has been up to in her hammer, what she's been searching, what she's been finding out and working with. As you can say, the body, I'm sure, very much likes knowledge about everything, about everyone in here, don't they?
Kind of narrows his eyes behind his tiny little circular spectacles.
He's like staring me in the eyes.
If we can gain the trust of the body of Isidoros through honest work, may you
And
possibly
sharing
grant
knowledge.
us, may you possibly grant us an audience with those who lead.
I just stare him straight back in the eyes and don't
You have
away
met
from his
us.
gaze.
You know our capability. You know our truth. The others do not. They've not met us.
This is true. And I promise that I have done my very best to try and convey the amount of confidence that I have in you and your comrades' abilities. That being said, it is not a matter of whether they believe you can do it or not. It is a matter of we are not sure what we are going to do yet ourselves. We have only just received word that this partnership with the Empire has been dissolved, as it were. We are undetermined whether we are going to continue to operate within this city or slowly trickle like the sands through an hourglass and get the fuck out of Dodge.
And so are the days of our lives.
So they are, you strange little man.
Dodge.
I couldn't help it.
No, you're good. I couldn't either, so you're fine. I can see where possibly an audience might be granted, but it would be under very much our own terms, and it would be one, if maybe two of you that would be petitioning directly. Why do I get the feeling, he looks over at Kindred, that you already have something in mind to present to them?
Just say the word.
We know that you came out from the desert. We know you came from that direction, so certainly you have discovered something. I cannot... What'd you say,
A
Renan?
little muffled what?
Wouldn't that be beneficial for everyone?
Well, it could be. It very much could be. However, for the time being, as I said, you are welcome to use the safety of our roosts to keep yourself out of the eye of the Empire and thus lay low for a time. But if you were to go ahead with your plan to assault the fortress, then we would have to, you would have to remove yourselves and not return. You could stay in the city, and obviously we would not make any moves against you, nor do we have any intention of trying to turn you over for a profit, as clearly those days have been done away with.
We just couldn't be considered allies from that point on.
Correct. Not until
Understood.
we determine what we ourselves are going to do. If we are going to stay, we can pretend that this arrangement that we had with the Empire is still in play. For the time being, they do not know that or have not shown any hostility towards us. Could be considered business as usual until one side or the other
Understand.
slips up further. But are we willing to take these chances? What are you going to say, Saul?
Familiar.
What are you going to say, Saul?
So there is one thing that confuses me. Well, there are a lot of things that confuse me here, but didn't they make announcements saying that they have captured the rebels? Who are they talking about?
I am unsure. I did not hear any announcements as I was indisposed at the time.
Is that something that you think someone in your group can find out?
Potentially. What were you going to say, Sander?
Are you aware of what happened in Silvery Moon?
Everyone's aware of that. It's common knowledge that they annexed it. For the glory of the Empire, as I try to mock Lou.
Well,
We had heard through a whisper or two that the Empire's hold on some of the far western territories had slipped up a bit. But those whispers and rumors were quickly shut down. Those voices snuffed, never to be seen again. A couple of merchants came not too long ago. Disappeared down a well.
True.
Oh, I do not recall their names. I just know that the eyes in the streets saw a few of their number shoved down a hole. A hole that leads to the bottom of Amrutla.
our forces.
How uncivilized.
What were you gonna say,
This
Arjun?
exact.
Hold on, Sander.
Sander's still
Yeah.
going.
Okay, go ahead, Sander.
Okay.
Sorry.
Our forces. This exact group, to be specific. And those who rose against the Empire in the city are the reason that that city has been freed. Amruthalar could be the next Silvery Moon. With your help. The offer is standing when the body of Isidoros is ready.
As much as that sounds nice, you do realize there's a few key differences to Silver Moon and Amrutla.
We defeated the Lich. We defeated the dragon. We liberated the city.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
There is a
True.
Lich here at Amrutlar, and
There is more than one, child.
dragons are.
We may not have a dragon at the moment, but we definitely have our fair share of liches. But also keep in mind,
They have the master of boom.
well,
And we are in the heart of Thay itself, or
You-
at least the gateway to it.
that is what I was going to say. The very seat of Mount Thay rests not but a few hundred miles in that direction. He points back behind him, basically. I promise you, as quick as a revolution might rise here in Amrullah, it will be stomped out just as quick. This is not a moment of where a quick resolution is going to stay that resolution for much longer afterwards. Reinforcements are right around the corner in every direction. So unless you plan to take out Amrutla and every other city here in Thay at the same time, or find a way to chop off the head of the snake at Mount Thay, we are not going anywhere. You may defeat one of them liches, maybe even both.
But there's a whole hand to cover it.
But all of them are going to be back in a matter of time, and they will tell their friends. So at most, you have a few days before they reconvene and come in numbers unlike anything you have seen before.
If the Party of Isidoros would be so kind in providing key intel as to where the Lich's graveyard might be, then we can chop off the head of the snake.
See, I had been about to ask you whether or what, if you folk are indeed these rebel heroes that have been causing trouble throughout the Empire's reaches, what your goal was here in Amrutla. As I recall, I heard something about searching for something or other, but never what.
Well,
You
you can
understand that's something
understand
we kept
the
pretty
need.
close hold.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Renan.
You can understand the need for secrecy, no?
There have been many an attempt to find the secret graveyard of the Liches. But even it would seem during the time before the Red Wizards took over Thay, they had kept that place locked away in secret. None of the Red Wizards knew where it was. We have learned a thing or two in our time here. You yourself said Lady Luthra was the Queen of Boom. Trust us. More than once that little gnome has done herself in and blown herself sky high. And it is only a matter of time before she returns.
Mm-hmm.
The same for Lord Blazefellow. He too has had his fair share of run-ins with experimental devices out in the hammer. But he returns. And no one that we are aware of, not even Lady Luthra herself, is supposed to know where this graveyard is. It is the key to Saz Tham's hold on the circle. All of their means of immortality are locked away. And once a lich returns, it is said that they are shunted outwards, unaware of where their true rebirth location is. It is assumed that it isn't they. It would make sense, as it seems that they reappear mighty quick. So at least you are in the right direction, but if you could find a way to kill a lich and keep track of her soul, or his soul, it might provide you with the location. Such locations, though, while possibly being heavily guarded, probably won't have much. The more guards, the more you need to make your presence known. But you are welcome to look out in the expanses of the desert if you wish. Many have tried, and no one has returned. Whether they found it and were killed, or died from natural desert causes, is a whole separate story.
Does the body know the locations of some of the liches at the moment?
He beams back. It is possible that we might know where some of these liches reside. Are there any in particular you are looking for, or just generally like to know the locations of your worst nightmares?
The last known location of a lich known as Amaranth.
But
Amaranth. I cannot say that that is a name that I'm familiar with. I do recall the name. I have heard it spoken before.
He's a lich that we slayed in Silvery Moon.
She was one of the liches that was said to have been a hero of the Empire out in the newly conquered lands. But news of her slaying is news to me.
Of course, she wouldn't want to let that out. She cowered with her tail between her legs.
I may have a way how to find it. At least a general vicinity of this graveyard.
No,
if I'm able to find her.
She was the Queen of Boom. Quite literally.
Her.
Oh, that's nothing.
Her master, if it is the one that I'm thinking of, Dentratha, I believe she resides in Turaturos. That would be a city to the east of here.
As I'm pulling up far maps, Aaron. Gosh, I cannot type today.
That, for whatever reason, seems to be a strongly potent location for whatever these red wizards like to do. There's one of the older cities in Thay, next to the citadel at the peak of the mountain, of course. We, at one time, had a correspondence with a thieves guild in Eltabar, out by the lake.
At one time.
We have long since not heard from them. They had been a splinter cell of Isidorus. But knowing the air of necromancy hangs strong in that area, it is undoubtedly they fell to whatever darkness preys in those corners. If you want to try and find Amaranth, if you indeed did slay her, I would imagine she would have returned to Tiraturos. That is where her original lair would have been with her Lich Lord Master.
Kindred, we're going to have a quick chat later.
I just nod. You can see this whole time Kindred has been like very much in my own head 90 miles a minute.
So, I apologize for any inconveniences that I might have caused to your plans of liberation of Amrutla. He looks over at Sonder. And child, do not take this the wrong way. Your intentions are noble. And then starts to look at each and every one of you. All of you are to be commended for your heroic spirit in trying to save the citizens of this city. Unfortunately, you would be put in a slapdash bandage on a broken artery. It ain't gonna hold long. Not without solid and decisive actions to stop the Empire. They will keep coming back. This is the curse of undead.
Though breaking a few things along the way, and still buy us time.
Possibly. Or it would put a target on your back. They will be more alerted to the
target on our back, sir, is a target less on our allies elsewhere.
This is true.
Target we already have.
But now, at least for the moment, Luthra has her high mighty speeches she likes to deliver. But for the moment, they don't know for sure that you are here, for clearly they have claimed to have captured you.
To that end, while we still have the favor of your good hospitality, do you know the state of the tunnels right now during all this rain?
The walk over here was rather precarious from place to place, just depending. Were too concerned about the flooding reaching the upper sections of the cave. It would take a deluge of biblical proportions to get it that reach that part. However,
What is the Bible? I don't know this reference.
however, there is plenty of runoff striking through parts of the city. It is noisy as hell down there right now. You just watch your step and you should be fine. For the time being. I'm sure this rain will abate before too long. How long could they possibly keep this going?
About all the mud everywhere.
It is rather dirty, but I don't generally travel above ground.
On the subject of your... I hazard to use the word inability. It sounds so deplorable on the tongue, but inability nonetheless to provide the support that you had offered. I do believe that we all understand your position on the matter. It will be nothing that any of us would hold against you, so long as the body does not hold any of our actions against us.
They have not, will not. Unless you cross the Empire, in which case then it is adios, and you will have to leave our little lairs. But they will not move against you. That much they have promised.
Precisely.
If we are gathering to tell ourselves, that would not be seen as a move against the Empire physically.
Correct.
Well, then we will be traveling, it seems. I think our next place to go, get out the Rose.
And here is a question. If we were to cause any issues for our mutual not friends in other places, but they could not track us here, would we potentially be given any of those same luxuries that we have been afforded this time?
He leans forward slowly. If you move against the Empire in any other place outside of Amutla, it is none of our concern.
A couple of dead guards here and there, I'm sure now they...
It is only within the city that we ask that you refrain from moving against them until we have decided what we are going to do.
I thank you for your candor.
Now, I did not mean to put a dampener on your celebratory spirits. This is still quite an occasion, as the body or the Isidoros in general do not generally take too well to outsiders. So, count yourselves on the blessed side. You are still safe with us. We will do our best to abscond you away from the Empire for as long as you stay within the city.
At this point, I point at him underneath the table, and I kind of turn my face so that way my mouth is hidden, and I message him. A quick moment of your time. Privately, please.
He looks over. You see the quickest of, shakes of his eye as he looks over at you. But otherwise, doesn't move his head. He looks at the rest. Well, I will... Oh my god, what's the word? Pardon myself from the table and allow you to continue with your whatever it is that you are wanting to do. I'm sure you have words to discuss amongst yourselves. And I am going to find myself something to do this evening. I will be in contact. As he looks to all of you and then ends with looking at you, Kindred. Gets up from the table, brushes a few leftover crumbs from his lap and long coat before turning, going back to the wall where the secret tunnel is, and it slides to the side. Turns back around, looks up at Ardrin, tucks his hat, and then walks around the corner before it closes back where it was before. Wind kind of leans forward. I had hoped for different circumstances, but it would appear that the body has spoken for the time being.
While she's
Or the
addressing
time
everyone,
being the key word, I think. Or
while she was addressing everyone, I would have liked to stand up very quietly, cast invisibility, and then just walk straight to where he was and do the door.
I mean, okay.
I'm invisible, but the door moved.
I mean, I know.
My bad.
For y'all know, but that way y'all can't like. Anyway, yeah, secrecy.
Okay. Well, everybody watches. Kindred steps up, disappears. The door opens.
Because it's like off to the side, right? Not like
It is right by.
there.
It is right by the behind his chair, behind the table.
Oh, it is. I thought it was like kind of off to the side.
No, it is literally like he literally gets up from the table chair, turns
Just, like,
around,
turns around.
walks 3 steps, does the thing, disappears. And I was like, sure, you can do what you want if that's what you want to do.
No, I thought it was off.
Where did Kindred go?
Do you see Kindred?
Do you see the Kindred?
Oh, poor Iskra. What we've done to her.
Okay, then.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just head straight to that. My bad. I thought it was off.
Okay. Wynn just watches you go, doesn't say anything. As you guys have free reign to come and go as you please to the. So, you go into the hallway, following behind where he left, leaving the rest of you there at the dinner table. Wind does look over at Iskra to your comment about it being just a matter of, for the time being. It is true. It is not often that the body judges things like this, but for the time being, you can still remain guests with us, which is very much preferable to having to push you out into the streets. And Sonder, your heart is in the right place. But Murdoch is right. If you want to bring freedom to this city, you're going to have to do something drastic enough to make sure that once the liches are removed, they are not coming back. They will come with a fury and destroy whatever they find in their path, whether they be guilty or innocent.
I'm not as ambitious as Sonder, but I still want to break that rock, or whatever it is, inside that fortress, enforcing docility.
It's true.
Chevy Asimar.
Would they be able to fix it or get another one?
I cannot say. I don't know how those things work. They are far beyond my purview. You would have to ask a mage or someone who knows how those things work on the inside.
I'm sure it'll take time and resources.
It's true.
Murdoch is right. We need power in knowledge. We need to strike at the. We need to strike at the heart, strong, and get rid of the liches before we can truly start the war against Fae.
Get rid of the lichers, there might not have to be a war.
Right.
Does that mean we still should find the graveyard first?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That should be our main goal, is simply finding the graveyard. Not destroying the fortress, not trying to kill the liches or liberate the city, save
What
the people.
about-
We can do that when we destroy the graveyard first, destroy the liches one by one, after they no longer have the ability to come back.
And in
That's
my
not enough for me.
experience,
I stand up.
We have to be smart about this. If
my experience, when you kill a lich's heart, oftentimes you don't have to worry about tracking them down at all.
Regardless, we can waste our lives liberating a couple cities and dying at the hands of Thay. Or we can do what we're meant to do. By the
Think
blessing
about
of
what we
Afriel.
figured out while we were here so far, though. The explosives program, what they're doing in the hammer, this mind control thing, this is all important. All things that if we know how they work or how to stop them, it could help our allies make progress elsewhere.
Yeah, but if we take out the heads of them, they'll fall easier.
I think it's a bit of both, ultimately. Getting rid of their tools or making them harder to use while we kill them is a much better way to go. However, if we can't get into the fortress, we should at least consider the other options. To that end, if we are going to go to Tower Turos, what would be the best, safest way to do that? Just so we have the information.
Wind stops you for a second. You said there are explosives that they have?
Absolutely.
Some
Plenty
kind
of
of
it.
crystal that explodes and carries magic in it.
I don't know what they're planning to do with it, but based on the ground around where we were, the chasm, I mean, what else does one do with explosives, right?
We're gonna say so.
Speaking of the underground and chasm, I've been thinking, if there is a graveyard, do you think it might be also underground? There was a lot of death and undeath down there anyway. When we came to that bridge that we didn't cross, it didn't feel good on the other side, right?
That would make sense. The sands would hide away, the underground fortress, the graveyard, possibly.
That's why I want to find Amaranth.
I don't like that I had this idea because I don't like the idea of going back down there, but it was
Well,
really
my
gross.
idea. It was. My idea was if we find Amaranth, I can finally touch her and get vision of where she spawned, I guess.
Do we really want to be going after a divination lich and her master, though?
What choices do we have?
Maybe not ones that can scry at us back?
At least this time we're able to use divination ourselves. She doesn't have the
force field
or the mythal to protect her this time.
And on top of all of that, she cannot see me.
Wind smiles. might have an idea. Kindred. You go into the hallway, following behind
Doc.
Yes, Dr. Murdoch. Let me switch this. Okay. Let's not do that. The darkened passageway here echoes with the sound of rushing water somewhere off in the distance. It is lit only by the torch that that sits right by the entrance door, but the rest of the passageway is dark. But you have dark vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you see in black and white beyond its length, as there's no sounds of anybody passing or moving. You continue to walk forward a ways and come to one of the sections where there's a cut away in the wall that leads out and open to the air, and you can hear now what Murdoch was talking about. There is an echoing cacophony of waterfalls out in that darkness. Hundreds of sounds of rushing water splashing down places. It creates, and the way it echoes in this cave creates this like staticky din to the darkness.
Very hypnotizing.
But you hear no sound of Doc Murdoch. Not at first. What is it that you are wanting to talk to me about exactly? The voice kind of echoes from the darkness around you.
You said you might be able to tell us the location of certain liches. I want to know the location of one in particular.
Oh? And who might that be?
The voice continues to echo around you as if it's like coming from multiple places in the shadowy darkness. You feel like something race by your back. Like something moving incredibly fast. Shadowy in the dark. You swear you see movement, but it's probably just your imagination.
I'm gripping just the straps of my bag and not really wanting to say it out loud. I'm just like, take a deep breath and Aranis.
There is a moment of silence in the air. You see two red eyes stare back at you from the darkness beyond the edges of the walkway from where you stand. The red eyes surrounded by mists of black, inky shadow. And then they seep through the wall, forming the figure of Doc Murdoch before you. Now, why would you want to know the location of a particular lich? And wanting to keep it away from your allies?
Let's just say there's some unfinished business between him and I.
He pulls the glasses down from the bridge of his nose a little bit. Is that so?
Oh!
And as he does that, he takes a step closer. And that's how we're going to end for tonight.
God damn it, Aaron!
Yeah, ha, 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 ha.
Much intrigue.
Much intrigue.
Y'all saw that, right? Y'all saw what he did?
I don't know what you're talking
that
about.
was awesome.
I don't know what you're talking about. What?
Listen here.
Listen here.
You don't just see them.
Yeah. Good job, everybody. Excellently done. Excellently done.
Absolutely.
We finally got to the end of that freaking race. It had been haunting me in the back of my mind for months. It's like, are we ever gonna know what's gonna happen? But yeah, good job.
The only way it could have been better is if Alkmaar won. So
Curious
You know
though,
what?
he stayed in second
There's-
for 2 laps in a row. Curious.
It's like NASCAR. They get
metal.
prize money for like being in the lead for so many laps.
Maybe.
Now we're gonna leave the city via sail bank.
Oh right, yeah.
Very big sail thing that can carry all of
the
us.
only way to leave the city.
yeah, we
Soul
can't take
can
the
turn into
reclaimer
a
because the
self-thing
prophecy
itself.
will occur.
I
So.
could turn into a cell
Yeah.
thing.
Unless we get rid of fume.
Yep. Unless
No,
We
we
have to get
get
rid of fume before we leave.
Yep.
There are any
We have
number
unfinished
of
business.
there are any number of possibilities of how this is going to turn out, but I am excited to see what Wind is thinking, what
Me too.
what Doc Murdoch might know about the location of Darth Uranus, and what the party will decide
Something.
if
Dark side.
if they agree to whatever Wind might be scheming, and whatever
When
it's
wants to help me blow stuff up, I'm down with that.
And
you
what is Doc Murdoch's true form?
Mm.
Does this have anything to do with relation with what I saw earlier?
Right? Mm-hmm.
What
was trying to-
secret is Soul hiding that he hasn't told anyone?
But they didn't pull the secret string in the secret box.
I don't know. Maybe we'll tickle it out of him.
Oh
Why
no, that
was
is
Saunders'
evil.
childhood short and marvelous?
Alignment changes to evil.
yeah. Can Renan fly in the rain? We'll find out next week.
Like
Like
an
a
owl.
bumblebee.
Yeah.
There's a god of tempest. What the hell do you think he's supposed to do in the rain?
Just wait until it finishes.
like an owl.
So it's his one weakness:
Wait, yeah.
rain. All right.
Oh.
Well, guys.
So how are y'all gonna be like
So
decide
Kalam.
after
Columbo.
Kindred walks out and leaves y'all's presence, like, oh, this we need to find the graveyard and find knowledge, not do this stuff, which is what I've been saying this whole goddamn time.
I mean,
Well, because we're not deciding that, because Iskra stood up.
Clearly, that
Well, you
means a thing.
see, it's a good idea now because somebody else said it.
And will you just send me the info on the magic site again?
Oh yeah. For sure.
Can you
Definitely
send
do
us the
that.
info on the Magisite?
Yeah.
What, Sonder?
Can you send us the info on the
Nope, because I haven't
Magisite?
told y'all yet.
Kindred,
I have not told y'all yet.
sir.
I have
Sir.
not. Ma'am,
Ma'am.
you,
Tend to
you can
keep
have a
these things
seat.
to yourself.
It's
though, it
ma'am.
becomes
You
too
can have a
late.
seat. You can have several seats with your water ass.
Water
wet.
everywhere. Hey,
All
at least
things a good
Sonder,
time.
we're about to have Atlantis, you know. It just started raining, so I'm sure, that's how that works, right? It starts
It's all
raining,
super powerful.
becomes
Please
Atlantis.
flood everything.
please.
Under this whole time has been like SpongeBob, where he's like, I need it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. It's been
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you next week. We'll see you tomorrow at Grouch Couch. Anybody who wants to can see the continuation of that madness. Holy crap. How do you guys be players? I just don't understand. Like, how do you be player? Like, that is a whole lot of
What? Okay, yeah. Let's.
You
Wine
shut off
or
your
crystal
brain.
What?
And
What's
emotional
one
damage.
voice.
How does
and
it
just
feel
go
not
with the
knowing all
flow.
the things and just being at the whim of someone else?
I was telling people the other day that if it feels how I would imagine a parent whose kid is learning to drive and they're wanting to like stomp on the brake or press the gas or just do the steering wheel or anything, but you can't. So you're just like having to hold on for dear life and be like, this is my life now. This is my life. I have no control. I don't know anything.
Mhm.
But they're just a
then-
whole mess. They're a whole. I mean, it is like stand up improv comedy while playing D&D at the same time. It is great, but also scary.
So then, on a scale of Sonder to Kindred, where do you fall?
The scale of Sonder to Kindred.
Probably closer to the Sonder side. I'm like the only one there who's not crazy. they're not crazy, but they're fun. They're funny crazy. That was you know what I meant. Yeah, they're chaos. They are, but it's like one Sonder. It's like one Sonder playing with 3 Kindreds. Probably somewhere like that.
Calculated.
And the DM
There's
is also
soul in
Kindred.
that range between.
We're
Soul is like true neutral.
spectrum.
Like if
It's a
Sonder's a
triangle.
1 on
It's
crazy and
Kindred,
just diving
Sonder,
headfirst
Soul.
into things, and Kindred is a 10, plan every single thing out. Sonder is
Is
a nice
that what you
5.
think he does?
All right, guys.
Arjun
I mean, they don't call me the architect for nothing.
Arjun feels like he's in
Who
between.
calls you the
Kindred
architect?
He's a
I don't know.
DLC.
and very
Sounds
far
like a
away
good
from
night.
his soul.
Myers-Briggs.
Triangle part.
Alrighty, I
The
will
top
see you.
of the D20 on Saunders' shirt is like for me on Zoom is like the top of the arrow thing on
Okay, and really quick
Oh,
before,
on,
background. Yeah.
nice.
before we end,
It matches up.
Sonder, are those balls on the wall
What is it?
to your
The